advising the accountant that, this, when you are in good standing and you're active, you should not embarrass the governor because of small issues. And you have time with the auditors to resolve those particular issues so that it doesn't reach our level. Secondly, Chair, I wanted to find out from the governor, because this it is under their own law. And there is a law that we passed last year, the FIF, that says that each of the hospitals should have its own fund. And the chair was, during the preliminaries, we were saying, supposing you have 20 or 30 or so level 4 and level 5 hospitals, how practical is it to have that number of funds instead of consolidating? Now that we have seen Nandi have one, maybe we wanted to find out from the governor, how do you see what you are running currently, where you have one fund under all your hospitals, and what has been passed as a national law? So is there a conversation that you've started as a Council of Governors on the same?
Yeah, as maybe governors, you prepare to answer that question. Now auditors are now processing audit report for each individual hospital as an entity, as an accounting entity. So maybe you can explain to us how you intend to proceed with this FIF. Auditing each hospital as an independent entity. So now, how are you going to run this FIF, county FIF, the new arrangement of the law, and also what the auditor is doing by auditing each individual hospital?
Chair, you will remember the Parliament was considering this national FIF law. One of the concerns that we had raised as Council of counties already, and I think we were over 30 counties already that had FIF, county FIF laws. And therefore we had raised this matter, but once you responsibility of we in counties to just comply with the decision. Therefore, we are in the process of, FIF laws to agree with the national legislation that you passed. Operating in the same manner as prescribed by the FIF national legislation, because every entity is being audited on it, and they are able to plow the same resources or budget the same resources and expend at the facility. So for us, really, whereas hospital and all the level 4, we think that the approach or the law that was passed by this house is. And in any case, as you indicated, the OAG are auditing each entity on their own, so it makes a lot of sense for us. So we are actually sort of transitioning and operating within the national legislation that you, as Parliament, have passed, and it is working. In fact, it is.
Senator Tobiko.
Chair, thank you, Chair. Chair, I think the question by Senator Kisang, if I got it right, I think in terms of the audit, but in terms of if the FIF can be done like collectively, so that any facility that's facing challenges, that is struggling, that is not self-sustaining, can be, kind of cushioned by a facility that's doing well. I think that's where he's coming from.
I think it's a bit difficult to it would, and I'm just responding this from where I sit now. It's difficult to get resources from one facility and support another facility. For the staff, is still paying for the medical, the human resource. Therefore, really, you can't say that there is a facility that is actually generated. Are still in arrears, but there is huge improvement from what we had previously. You know, so if you look at what was happening under NHIF, is part of what I think we have also raised with the health committee. When you go to level 3 facilities, for them to be able to do the claim. So we still have those challenges in terms of that has not been fully achieved. So I think it is a huge improvement from where we are.
Yeah, but as a Council of Governors, what are you doing about that challenge? Because I think it's...
This is a matter that we have raised continuously. We are also happy other national government programs around equipping model that was adopted. And so we also have some of pushing also because they are also their payment or payment of their services is based on the SHA you know, KEMS are also pushing. So I think there is a good number of government and pushing SHA to improve in terms of their submission of claims. The only thing that we have to private facilities in terms of payment of their claims. We must have because their infrastructure is largely already set up. They may be slightly ahead of us, but we have made their appeal to share that as much as, you know, we have to catch up as county public facilities, but they must ensure that priority is given to facilities that are actually serving a bigger population of Kenya. So we are pushing with all the other stakeholders on this, and we need your voice as the Senate, particularly your counterpart committee in health, to ensure that these improvements are sustained.
Maybe what I picked from the governor, I think it is maybe one of us or the health committee, we need to actually invite the CS Health to give us a status of what they promised, that 104 billion. So we need to know the actual status of the implementation in all the facilities.
Are suffering in hospitals. I had an issue in Machakos County where a patient was supposed to be transferred, and the hospital, a private hospital, could not release the patient because...
Chair, now that, I mean, just a follow-up as I throw the 4 legislations that you passed, it might be time now for you to evaluate the level of implementation. National government to help us with digitalization. It would be unfair to have an hospital with a gadget. It has not been equipped with equipment that are supposed to help you provide service. So that was captured. I think it was a program that was launched by national government. So I think so we must ensure that the 4 pieces of legislation that you approved in this house.
The members, we will proceed to the report on bursary.
Chair.
Yeah. Yes.
But I would want to ask a few questions because it's very critical and it's part of the documents.
Okay,
that has been
just
provided.
A moment. I allow the auditor.
Chair, on budget, see from the, I'm following your report that was submitted before this committee. Because, Chair, you just moved away from FIF Act, which is used to that they provide at that level. So, Governor, the following questions, I can see there was an, or who deals with it? The revenue potential, the CRA revenue potential, number 1, at least. that there is, I am picking from what Senator Kisang, Senator Tobiko, by the infamous CPA Julius Kimboy, there is 39 million, but you ended up collecting 155 million. In Nandi Hills, you collected at 1 million. That's a slight difference of 9 million. But you ended up collecting 5.4 million. In Kaptuma Sub-County Hospital, targeted 18.8 million, but you collected 7.4. Osoria Sub-County Hospital, your target was 7.8, ended up collecting 5.1. Kabiet Sub-County Hospital, your target was 12.1, but you ended, according to the auditor report, this was a mid target of non-collection of 41%. I have seen the result. You are the one submitting this report. You allude to two reasons. Health workers strike, and hence there was no revenue. How many times did the nurses, and I remember when there was supposed to be industrial action, you are on record on several occasions that you have avoided by negotiating with the unions. Then why does it become a reason? Number two, you say there was delay in supply and delivery of medical commodities, especially drugs to hospitals. But on record, you have always insisted that there is enough drugs in a hospital. So why contradicting statements, yet you are doing under collection? And now you yourself, you have said on record, if the facility does not collect as per the FIF Act, it might not end up to be sustainable. That is my question one. Question number two, in Cherargei, and let me pick Kapsabet and Cherargei, Kapsabet, the newborn mother unit is up to now. So what is the implication of collection of this target that you are projecting? And number two, in Cherargei, the project that you are doing is not yet complete or installed. Does it affect the projection of your revenue? That will be my question number two, Chair. Number three, I thought you have said, because I've seen your own source revenue reports, that the collection of revenue has been automated. Is it true that in facilities that I've mentioned from Nandi, Metete, Kaptuma, Mosoriat, Kabiet, Cherargei, today have of collection of revenue? That will be my number three. And I hope, Governor, you are noting so that it is easy for you to answer. Let me finish with this, Chair. And I want to look at their documents which they are provided. Chair, this will be my final question, Governor, on the use of goods and services. I find it interesting in your expenses, which are necessary. For example, you in use and goods, that is not number 7 in your financial statements. And I hope your staff are kind enough to show you that is page 19, not number 7 on your financial statements. You did general expenses of 2.1 million. You went ahead and did printing and stationery of 4.5 million. General office expenses, you or 2.1, I hope chair members are noting this, and then you go ahead and do printing and stationery at 4.5, and then you go ahead and do printing and stationery at 4.5 million. Then you go ahead and do computer accessories at 1. Then you go ahead and do computer accessories at 1.2 million. 0.2 million. So I assume people who take chai and mandazi. With noting that in your financial 1 million on health celebrations, and then chair celebrations, and then chair that chair and I have noted another thing, chair. And I hope members will bear with me. Subscription, no, sorry, that is okay. You are spending almost of water expenses 800,000. You are spending on airtime, telephone, and communication expenses of 40,000. But water, you are spending it at 800,000. Chair, you now have visited a number of facilities, including the latest at Combat Dispensary, and they have a challenge with water. So all this, Chair, I have tallied, Governor, in your unnecessary expenses, because renal supplies, medical cases, medical laboratory reagents, branding linen, which is understandable, the issue of fuel and oil transport, which is 2.6 million, fuel for production. I will need clarity, Governor, because that is why this clerical error came, by the way, because you are saying fuel and oil for transport, 2.6 million. Then you say fuel for production, 815,000. So, Chair, I have total unnecessary expenses comes to around 12.8 to 13 million. From general office expenses, catering, health celebrations, printing and stationery, computer accessories, telephone and communication expenses. And I have found an interesting thing, Chair. Governor, do you outsource consultant services because you have paid 776 people? Does it mean you have professional, does it mean Nandi County and your chief officer of health, the professionals, and that is why you are outsourcing consultancy services, where you are paying in one financial year 776,000. So, Chair, you can look in unnecessary and unfortunate expenses. It comes to more than 13 million Kenya shillings, which comes to almost a half, or even almost a half of pharmaceutical supplies of 26 million. That is why the governor has argued that there is delay there is not an availability of drugs, because he's spending it on unnecessary expenses. So my question, Governor, what is the justifiable reasoning of spending these 12 million in health celebrations, in general office expenses, in printing and stationery, in computer accessories, in airtime, in professional consultancy? And Makiu, I will assist by guiding you that when you talk about catering, there is already a provision of food and ratio, which I assume this is one is being supplied to the patients, of 4.6. Even if you are to say doctors and nurses are consuming 3.4, they are almost consuming the same as the patients, yet the patients are much more. So that will be my third and final question, Chair. I yield the ground.
There are so many questions. I don't know whether, Governor, you are writing.
Write it down.
Chair, I think, and maybe we just need guidance, analyzing budget was not an audit query. If we needed those details, and the senator wants those details, and the committee
Chair, on point
needs,
of order, on Article 229(4), it says the Parliament shall consider.
Kindly allow me to talk. You have had your.
Chair, can I ask what?
Let the Governor respond.
Yeah.
And then I will give you a chance to.
Into a forum in this committee, we come specifically to address details of analyzing the, item. Yet there is a whole process of how a budget is arrived at. It's not a decision of the governor. The budget is not done by the governor. It is done by various institutions. Simply, and therefore, the details of those discussions of this one and this and this, if then the senator needs responses to each of those questions. But really, if you look at what we came, the audit queries, I might then require to have a whole team for us to discuss. So I think what the senator has raised, valid as they are, if you can be able to share with us in writing, we can be able to respond to all those issues. But really, it would be fair that we are able to deal with audit queries, of what I was invited to come and respond to, than really to go on, on a mission that, again, I am able to respond on top of my. Yet we have a whole team and a whole process, and the budgets are done. I may even find when a budget is done, if you have concerns as a governor that maybe this should have been, that is why it is, we provide, it goes through public participation, it is amended, certain things are changed based on the input of the public and the county assembly, and therefore when the budget finally is approved, it may not be exactly what the governor had provided for. So really, let's just be fair so that it doesn't look like this budget is drawn exclusively by the governor. And if we want to have a discussion on the budget and the entire budget line by line, I think a better forum should then be availed so that then we can have that discussion. So Chair, to be responded.
I think what Senator Cherargei was doing, there were variances between what was budgeted. So what he was trying to analyze is actually the financial statement. Expenditure was varied from the budget because of the plans to respond.
Yeah,
and then
I think you have captured partly what I asked: performance and control. And even I asked a basic question to the governor: do we need hiring of consultancy services? You should have said we don't have a gynecologist, for example, or oncologist, and say that's the reason we pay. It is a simple question. So, Governor, Chair, what can happen if the governor would want to respond on budget priority that are on his own financial statements, and then the committee can write a letter to him. But my other questions the governor has avoided is even a simple question: revenue collection from Kapsabet all the way to Kaiboi hospitals, are they automated? Governor, a meeting, I thought it's a yes or no, and which company is doing the collection? I thought that was a very fair question. And another question was why you are missing your targets in terms of revenue collection. And then number three, Chair, because we are on budget performance and control, is on the issue of priority. My question, Governor, the reason I was giving an examples of your own audit, and I know you are fund manager, is I was asking, do we need to spend in your own financial statements, which is not generated by the Senate or OAG, do we need a priority of 13.1 million as opposed to 26 million that we are using to buy drugs? And then finally, Chair, Governor, the committee can write and request for details on those line-by-line budget. So, Governor, you are arguing before this committee in Article 229, Parliament shall consider reports from OAG. Then, Governor, why should we have this meeting if you can write to appear before this committee? Because if we cannot ask clarification in process to process our audit reports that will be tabled, then why should we have a meeting? Is it necessary? So if you can answer the 4 questions on the budget line, the committee can write, then you can respond. But can you respond on the issue of collection of revenue, the target that you have missed, the issue of priority, and the issue of the automation? And I ask a very basic question. You and me know that, and Chair, it is on record, and it is on the audit report of 23-24, that most of your stalled projects are linked to hospitals. And I was asking, could it be the reason that mother and baby in Kapsabet is yet to be finished? Buja is yet to be finished. Kapsengere is yet to be finished. Chepterwai is yet to be finished. And it is in the audit report, which is part of this consideration. And I was asking, could it be the target and therefore affecting the budget performance, which is part budget is not an audit query is misleading this committee, because one of the, can he answer the questions, or if he doesn't want to answer, we can leave it at that.
Your point is well noted, Senator. Your point is well noted.
Underplay the importance of appearing before the Senate. But also, but I think for effective utilization of the time, the order has been that then you come and respond to audit queries. And that is my simple thing. I'm not saying that what he's asking is not, but get a forum for us to discuss those ones so that we have those details.
What the report?
Yeah. Let him finish. Let the governor
unless the governor, sorry, Chair, unless I didn't get him right. Chair, I'm active listener.
Don't want to.
And I think governor is taking this meeting casually. Because the questions I'm raising, to be fair, even members here, is I'm asking value. Automated, does it need a literature explanation, Chair?
Okay, let me direct this.
Yeah.
We have our the query on budget control and performance, and the senator is trying to relate this to what he has pointed out, and then draw a parallel with that query of budget time on this back and forth.
With fiscal analyst, what is the revenue potential of Nandi?
That is a report on the year 2022, 3 million. That is based on that report. However, as a county specific, based on their target for the year under review, the target was 558. Appropriation is around 55. Thank you, Chair.
That is the reason, you know, Chair, because even when you look at overall all source revenue, they are still missing the target, just the. And maybe, Chair, so that we close that question. So does it mean Governor will not answer my questions?
No, I think what the governor is, he had prepared to respond.
Let's ask, is our systems automated? Does it need to prepare? It is something basic. It's simple.
Okay, let us allow him.
Chair, we can write a whole letter, and then he can come
and then we move. Because
so, one of the issues that touch on our appearance here, that 2 consultancy services, we do not have, you know, radiologists and certain other consultants that we have to for them to provide those services. So we have those categories of specialists that we do not have, that we have to outsource their services. In terms of the projects, the various projects that are ongoing within the county, FIF is not financing, you know, the various infrastructure projects that are ongoing. They are being supported or they are being funded by the county budget. FIF largely targets the resources that are being raised within, and the same money goes to the services and goes to supporting the continuity of those services. So are being funded by this. Chair, in terms of prioritization and budget.
I think, Chair, the governor did not get me very well with a lot of infrastructure. I was saying this matters has been raised, and I was trying to tie up that could it be the reason you are missing revenue target by 41% in collection of revenue within the health facilities, performance of collection of revenue within the health facilities within Nandi?
No, it does
just
not.
My simple question.
It does not.
Okay.
Is it further and give us a report as a committee? Senator Mudama?
No, Chair, because you have ruled, I think I hear the frustrations of the letter. Can write back with the answers. Thank you.
Oh, me. That report, then we can write to the governor. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. Good afternoon, Governor and your team. My name is Senator Chimera, Senator from Kwale County, member of this committee. Maybe before we end, we have a last query there, which members thought that they just need some direction from the governor on what the county is doing to address it. Lack of an internal audit function and audit committee for this fund. Governor, maybe you can tell us more about it.
So, Chair, the internal audit was affected by a staff audit process that was ongoing in Nandi County, and we are saying that that having the county, but also all the funds under being run by the county, but also all the funds under being run by the county government, and therefore being run by the county government, and therefore we are in
the governor may need to have internal audit function in each hospital.
Clerk to the committee.
Jeremy Chabari, Legal Counsel.
Good morning, I am Francis Liske, I'm intern.
Right, Samuithi, Research Officer.
Victor Kimani, Hansel and Audio Services.
CPA Canada, what fiscal analyst?
Josh Niano, Media Relations Officer.
John Perez, Sergeant at Arms.
Chair, that's all from us.
Okay, we can have our partners.
Yes, good morning, Chair, Honorable Members, Your Excellency the Governor. My name is Mark Kachanja from the Office of the Auditor General, Legislative Relations Office. With me is the auditor responsible for the audit of Nandi County, and I invite him to put himself on record.
Good morning, Chair, Honorable Senators, and the Governor and the others. I'm Henry Makora, Deputy Director, Office of the Auditor General, North Rift Region Office.
Thank you, Chairman, Honorable Members, Excellency Governor, Patrick Inoti from the EACC. Thank you. Honorable Chair, members, His Excellency the Governor, my name is Dishon Mohabashi from the Office of Control of Budget, Parliamentary Liaison Officer. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Edith Kanata from the National Treasury.
Governor, is your turn. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephen Sang, Governor Nandi, and I am my team here. Kindly allow me to ask them to introduce themselves, Chair.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Alfred Lagat, CC member in charge of finance and economic planning.
Good morning. My name is Beatrice Chemurgo, Chief Officer Education and Vocational Training.
Good morning, my name is Fred Kiptum Koskei, Chief Officer Health and Sanitation.
Good morning, my name is Priska Moige, Chief Officer Finance Economic Planning.
Good morning, my name is Makto, I'm the accountant.
Good morning, I'm Nicholas Koskei, Fund Administrator and the County Education Fund.
Good morning, my name is Julius Kimboi, Fund Administrator, Facilities Improvement Fund, Nandi County.
That's okay. Okay, thank you. Welcome, Governor and your team. So, honorable members, you can see the Senator of Nandi is walking in. You settle down and then you put yourself on record. Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Chair. Cherargei Kipoti, Senator of the Republic of Kenya from Nandi County.
Okay, very well. So now, honorable members, we proceed to agenda on administration of oath of witness and tabling of documents. And I will ask the clerk to lead that process.
I, Stephen Kipiago Sang, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect to matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth, so help me God. Honorable Chair, I hereby table the management responses and accompanying annexures for the following fund for the financial year 23-24 before the committee. Number 1, Nandi County Education Bursary Fund, and 2, the Nandi County Facilities Improvement Fund. I table, Mr. Chair.
Okay. The auditor from the hub, I would like you to tell us more about the documents which have been tabled, whether you had quality time to go through those documents, and you indicate to the committee whether the documents presented before us are in the right format and content for consideration by this committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do confirm that we obtained the documents on time. That was on 18th of August 2025, and we have gone through them. So, Mr. Chair, the documents are ready for discussion.
Our clerk.
Yes, Chair, I do confirm that we received the documents in time.
And have you gone through them?
Yes, Chair, we have. And we are ready to proceed.
Okay. Okay. So, honorable members, we will now consider the 2 reports. Remember, the governor was here a few weeks back. Consider the other reports, and we remained with the 2 reports which we want to conclude today. That is the Nandi County Education Bursary Fund and the Nandi County Facility Improvement Fund for the financial year 2023-2024.
Yes. OAG, I can see the responses here amended financial statements. Kashan, do you want to use amended financial statements through the chair?
No, Chair. Those ones, of course, will be considered in auditing 24-25, Chair. They cannot amend the certificate that has already been issued.
So what is, through the chair, what is the significance of supplying an amended financial statement at this time when you didn't consider during the audit under review?
I believe maybe the client wanted to demonstrate that that has been done, providing evidence for that. But as auditors, we cannot comment on those until we audit them in 24-25.
So you have not looked at it?
We have seen the document, but we have not audited it.
So, OAG, through the chair, why are you saying we are ready to proceed when some part of the attachment are saying amended financial statements?
Chair, we are ready to proceed because they have brought the responses, including those amended financial statements, which are before consideration in this committee. So we can't deny that so that's not a response, Chair.
Through the chair, you have not considered the amended financial statements. We will still rely on the original financial statements that you considered during the audit period.
Yes, Chair, and for your information, they have submitted financial statements for this year 2024-25, and we are currently auditing them. So, Chair,
so this one is, Chair, what do you call prior audit matters into this financial year? Yes. So it doesn't have so much significance on the previous financial statements. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. I sit ground. So I was saying that we will start with the Nandi County Facility Improvement Fund for the year ended June 2024. In our pre-meeting, we noted that there were accounting issues in this report, which the members had an interest in. Starting with the query number 1, inaccuracies of the statement of cash flows. I think that's what has now created the amended financial statement. And then issue of recognition of cash expenses in actual accrual-based reporting. So we agreed that we are going to look at the two queries deeply. The two queries, that is the first one and the second one. So let's start with the first one, which is inaccuracies of statement of cash flows. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. The inaccuracies of the statement of cash flows. Here, the statement of cash flows reflects cash and cash equivalents balance of Kenya shillings 12,086,027 as at 30th June 2024, which comprises net decrease in cash and cash equivalents of Kenya shillings 22,981,777. However, it's not clear how the net decrease in cash and cash equivalents amounts of Kenya shillings 22,981,776 disclosed in the cash flow statements was arrived at. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your management response.
Honorable Chair, this was a clerical error which is regrettable, and going forward such errors will not go uncorrected before the financial statements are handed over for audit.
So maybe I will open up to the members to make comments, ask questions. But Governor, I've noted that even last time, the other reports, we had a lot of issues, accounting issues. Now again, this one, accounting issues. Even the bursary accounting issues. Maybe your CEC Finance can explain, because it seems to be a normal thing. CEC Finance, maybe through the Governor, you can give an explanation why are we having so many inaccuracies in your financial statements.
Thank you so much, Chair. These errors are errors that shouldn't appear, and that's why we really are owning up. These are errors that ordinarily, when an audit begins, correction should be submitted to the auditors within a very short period of time. The reason they've then finally appeared in the audited accounts is because the team corrected, but way after the window within which the auditors gave us to correct. And just as we had said, Chair, last time here, was that this spoke to the issues of capacity. The auditor can confirm, because the auditors are currently in the field. We've since really improved on our quality of accounts, and the 24-25 accounts, we've been very keen on ensuring that petty errors like these ones don't occur, and we've actually been busy training the team, and we hope for improved reports going forward. Chair, thank you.
Senator Mbugu.
Thank you, Chair. The CEC has admitted maybe there is an issue of capacity, but we would want to know the accountants who prepared these statements. Is he here? So that maybe we can address him directly, because these are issues we believe should not be coming to this committee.
Yes, Chair, through the Chair, yes, we have the accountant here, the fund manager. His name is CP Julius Kembo.
Maybe the auditors can sign those documents.
Yes, Chairman. 30025, the fund account.
Julius Kimeli, East Park, member number 30025. His membership status is active, and status is in good standing, which contradicts your position, Mr. CC. This is a well-qualified person. So why would he have simple errors like this occurring? Senator Cherargei.
Chair, I'm looking at the financial statements. It was signed off by CPA Julius Kemba. I don't know whether he's here.
Chair, I'm around.
Okay.
Yes.
So secondly, sorry, I came late after the introduction. I find the response by Governor very casual because the financial statements are generated by the entity. So if as a qualified CPA can perpetuate a clerical error, then there is a bigger problem. And Chair, so that we don't waste time, I know the number of reports we have adopted on the floor of the House from PIC. We just write to the ISPA for professional misconduct because we are discussing about 22 million, which to him might appear small money, but to Kenyans is a lot of money. So, Chair, we have taken a position that any person who commits a professional misconduct, CPA Julius Kemba is a candidate, and I request that when the report is being written, he should be directed for sanctioning because these are his own generated statements that has brought the response that it is just a clerical error. So, Chair, and finally, maybe to, so this is, I'm looking at the amended financial statement. So he signed both statements through the chair, OAG. Did the same gentleman, because in the next years of the county government, it says these are amended financial statements. Did he sign both? CPA Julius Kemboy, in the initial financial statements.
Chair, allow me to respond.
Through the governor.
Chair, I've not finished.
But he hasn't finished.
Yeah.
So let him finish.
It's okay.
Chair, we can confirm that he signed the financial statements that we audited.
So
the initial financial
from the documents they have submitted here, he signed the amended version again.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, from the annexed years.
He has, yes.
So he's just perpetuating his mistakes. Governor, I have heard you through your CC, because you are the one on oath, saying that these are clerical errors that will be corrected in the future. I thought OAG and Governor, there are many meetings, including letter of management, before the reports are taken and probably the final audit is being done. So does it mean, Governor, you ignored most of these meetings? Because this matter should have rested at the audit level. Because I know OAG are very fair under Article 2 to 9, where they send the letter of management before the conclusion. So, Governor, where was the problem? Now that we have established the person who signed documents is competent. If he was incompetent, we would have now taken a different tangent. So where is the problem? The issue is not competency. The issue is lack of seriousness. So when you are doing all this meeting from entry meeting up to the management level, where was the problem?
Please respond through the governor.
Chairman, thank you, Chairman, for the space. As I said, my name is CPA Julius Kemboy. The error we are talking about, Chair, is really a clerical error, and I didn't intend to do that, commit that error, but it is really human error. I intend also to demonstrate that the difference between what the amendment that we did and the error is a difference of 1.3 million and not really a loss of 22 million. It is 1.3 million. So it was a comparison between the last financial, the cash and cash equivalent of the last financial year 2022-2023 and the cash and cash equivalent of, that is as at 30th June. So the error occurred, instead of I recording 23 million, 23,701,776, I recorded 22,981,776. So it's a difference of 1.3 million, Chair, and I regret it. This is a mistake that will never occur again. Thank you.
But you should those details you are giving us about 1 million and not 22 million. They are not in your response. Your response is very brief, just regretting the error and saying going forward such errors will not go uncorrected.
The amendment copies, Chair. The amendment copies.
Chair, maybe on indulgence, the fund manager is talking as if 1.3 is little money. I don't. It's a very serious money. Or he has a lot of money until 1.3 is small money to him. So can he apologize for telling Kenyans that 1.3 is small money? It's a lot of money that can construct almost 2 ECD classrooms.
Yeah. Proceed.
Chair, I apologize. It is not 1.3. It's not a loss, Mr. Chairman. The only problem is that it was a human error that I recorded. But it doesn't really affect the cash and cash equivalent.
But, you know, Chair, you cannot say it's human error. You remember when Uhuru committed error when he was the Minister of Finance? It was a serious error. So it's not about being human error. If it is human error, then you should have resigned. Because we cannot, if everything we take as human error, then we fail in the duty of due diligence, Chair, in our offices. Because, Chair, this difference, to many people, 1.3, this clerical error that is dismissing, is a serious issue. We have established not about capacity, it's not an availability of all these issues. So can he either apologize and be ready for the sanctions by the committee in their report, and then the matter rests there. But the more he talks about human error, all of us would be feigning human error in everything we do, and the whole country will collapse.
Chair, before maybe he apologizes, when was the correction submitted? Was it submitted when the auditors were still on the ground, or it was a late submission? And what does the law say about late submission?
That one, the auditor will respond to that. But I think, Mr. Kembo, you can respond to Senator Cherargei through the governor, and then auditor can respond to your query.
Chair, I began by saying I regret the error, the human error. I said I apologize for committing that human error. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor?
Chair, we got the corrections of this on Friday, on 18th of August. That's like a week ago. But the audit was done some times back. The Auditor General's report was signed on 30th December 2024. So I don't know, but still it remains straight submission.
Chair, can the legal read again about late submission, what the law says?
Legal.
Through you, Chair, there is Section 47 of the Public Conduct Act on the time limit for submission of accounts, whereby financial statement required under the Constitution, the Public Finance Management Act, and any other legislation shall be submitted to the Auditor General within 3 months after the end of the fiscal year to which the accounts relate, and then the financial statement shall be in the form and content as prescribed by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, and then the penalties, the offences on late submission is under Section 62 of the Public Conduct Act, and subsection 1 it reads that a person shall not, and then paragraphs B and C, without justification, fail to provide information required under this Act, and without justification, fail to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act, and subsection 2, the penalty, a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, I think you have heard, and that is one of the issues that Senator Cherargei had pointed out, that in our recommendation, we can sanction you, and not just for your membership of ISPAC, but also we can invoke Section 2 of the Public Audit Act. So that one committee is going to look at it at the report writing stage to make a decision on that. But I also want to say that, we have realized that why we have these simple errors is because the senior accountants do not actually prepare the financial statement. The people who prepare the financial statement are junior accountants who are not even members of ISPAC. And then because it is a requirement that ISPAC member signs, they give it to you and you sign without verifying the contents of the report. And that's why we get in here. So, Mr. Kemboi, are you the one who prepared the financial statements? Yes, sir. Use the mic.
Yes, sir. I'm the one who did the...
You need to tell us the truth, because the truth will set you free.
It is me, sir.
Because if such a matter is reported to ISPAC with your high qualification and training, you will be asked the same question and you will not be able to defend yourself well. So you are on record that you are the one who prepared the financial statement.
I participated, sir.
Members,
Chair, can I ask a question? CPA through the chair, and I think in future, Chair, in this committee, with tremendous respect, when you have a senior officer of the county, they should take an oath, because when you will be writing to the ISPAC, you can attach the answer and they have taken an oath so that they don't lie. It's a fact that most of these are prepared by junior accountants. So CPA Julius Kemboi, how long have you been serving in Nandi County and how long have you been practicing?
I was there before, even before the devolution. I was at the municipality and then transferred to the depot of government.
So how long have you been an accountant? Your professional life?
For almost around 20 years, but now being fully registered with the ISPAC is around 5 years, around 5 years.
So your initial training was not accounts through the chair?
It was accounts.
So 5 years ago, but you are still committing errors. Chair, I think as I yield the ground, we can rest that there and leave to the wisdom of the committee to consider what the witnesses are submitted on record. Thank you.
Okay, so I think the committee will make a decision on that matter, maybe at the report writing stage. We want to encourage the accountants to do their work very professionally and not what we are seeing, where we have a lot of errors in financial statements. And sometimes we may have the devil hiding in the errors. Yeah, so that's why we should discourage that issue of accounting errors and misstatements and inaccuracies. So I hope, Governor, you will help us by, as your CC has said, to strengthen your accounting team so that moving forward, we do not have these kind of errors appearing. But that does not mean that we are not going to make a decision on that matter. As a committee, we will, so that the matter of late submission of document and the matter of accounting errors are fully addressed. Any other issue, members, on that? So, Auditor, how are you hoping to deal with this issue moving forward in terms of correction of errors?
Chair, we are working on the 2024-25 reports. I hope that, I believe that they have addressed those issues in this report we are auditing.
Mark?
Maybe mine as a recommendation the committee can make is that the client in future, in compliance with the Audit Act, is able to respond to these issues at the time of audit, especially when responding to the ML, so that these issues don't escalate to the certificate stage. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I think we are also going to keenly watch the financial report for 2024-2025. And by the way, you have only how many days? By 31st. The financial statements for 2024-2025 should have been submitted to OH. With the changes. Have you received?
Chair, we have received these financial statements and the team is on the ground auditing.
Yeah, so we will, I think the clerk, you need to note the linkage of 2023-2024 to 2024-2025. Query number 2, recognition of cash expenses in accrual-based reporting framework. Again, this is similar accounting issue, but anyway, auditor, proceed and read the query.
Thank you, Chair. The fund reports transactions in financial statements in a accrual-based reporting framework. However, review of transactions revealed that expenses were recognized on cash basis. During the year under review, the fund presented these financial statements on an accrual basis. Recognition of expenses incurred contradicts the accrual-based reporting framework adopted by the fund. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Honorable Chair, at the close of the financial year, all the expenditure by the fund had been paid. There were therefore no accrued expenses that required disclosure in the financial statements. The principles of accrual accounting have been applied to the extent applicable in the rest of the disclosures in these financial statements. Thank you, sir.
Auditor, what is your comments on the management response?
Of course, Chair, that's a valid response for the lack of accrued expenses at the year end. This explanation at least addresses the audit query, as an entity with no outstanding payables at the reporting dates could not have accruals to report. Therefore, Chair, in our consideration, at least it was addressed.
Any comments or query?
Is this the last query we are discussing? Or is there another query?
On
this is the last one, on this particular one.
And then there will be another issue, which is not a query, but
that's the
legal issue.
That's the one I wanted to raise. So maybe.
Okay, proceed.
I proceed. Thank you, Chair. At least I can revisit the earlier one by just maybe advising the accountant that these are errors. When you are in good standing and you're active, you should not embarrass the governor because of small issues. And you have time with the auditors to resolve those particular issues so that it doesn't reach our level. Secondly, Chair, I wanted to find out from the governor, because this particular fund is under their own law. And there is a law that we passed last year, the F5, that says that each of the hospitals should have its own fund. And Chair, during the preliminaries, we were saying, suppose you have 20 or 30 or so level 4 and level 5 hospitals, how practical is it to have that number of funds instead of consolidating? Now that we have seen Nandi have one, maybe we wanted to find out from the governor, how do you see what you are running currently, where you have one fund under all your hospitals, and what has been passed as a national law. So is there a conversation that you've started as a Council of Governors on the same?
Maybe governors will prepare to answer that question. You know, now auditors are now processing audit report for each individual hospital as an entity, as an accounting entity. So maybe you can explain to us how you bearing that in mind, because the idea about auditing each hospital as an independent entity is that all the revenues will be recognized in that hospital as such. So now, how are you going to run this FIF, county FIF, with the new arrangement of the law, and also what the auditor is doing by auditing each individual hospital?
Chair, you will remember that when Parliament was considering this national FIF law, one of the concerns that we had raised as Council of Governors then was that counties already, and I think there were over 30 counties already that had FIF, county FIF laws. And therefore we had raised this matter, but once you as a parliament took a decision, it is the responsibility of we in counties to just comply with the decision, and therefore we are in the process of amending our own FIF laws to agree with the national legislation that we passed. However, we think that that there is no harm operating in the same manner as prescribed by the FIF national legislation, because every entity is being audited on its own. They are able to generate their own resources, and they are able to plow the same resources or budget the same resources and expend at the facility. So for us, really, whereas the current county, the Nandi County FIF law is one law for the county referral hospital and all the level 4, we think that the approach or the law that was passed by this house is practical, and that is exactly we are transiting to implement. And in any case, as you indicated, the OAG are auditing each entity on their own, so it makes a lot of sense for us. So we are actually sort of transitioning and operating within the national legislation that you as Parliament have passed, and it is working. In fact, it is.
Senator Tobiko.
Chair, thank you, Chair. Chair, I think the question by Senator Kisang, if I got it right, I think it's not in terms of the audit, but in terms of service delivery. He was asking if the FIF can be done like collectively, so that any facility that's facing challenges, that is struggling, that is not self-sustaining, can be kind of cushioned by a facility that's doing well. I think that's where he's coming from.
I think it's a bit difficult to it would, and I'm just responding this from where I sit now. It's difficult to get resources from one facility and support another facility, because the amount of resources being generated in a facility means that the volume of the patients they are receiving and everything is, it's based on the service delivery they are providing. Some of the facilities that are not able to sustain themselves, it is what we are providing resources in the county budget to support those facilities. So we really want to encourage that every facility that generates, they are able to plow the resources, because it actually means there is demand for those services in those facilities. Then the county budget can just supplement some of those facilities that are not able to run. And in any case, in fact, if you are to be honest, you are unlikely to have a facility that has surplus, because even in a facility that looks like they are doing very well, the county is still paying for the staff, is still paying for the medical, the human resource. Therefore, really, you can't say that there is a facility that is actually generating surplus to give to another facility. We backstop that with the county budget.
Chair, I know this is not a query, but if you allow me, I'll ask the governor. How is the payments from SHA to the hospitals? Are you receiving your payments in time from SHA to the hospital facilities? Or are they in arrears?
They are still in arrears, but there is huge improvement from what we had previously. So if you look at what was happening under NHIF and what is happening under SHA, there is marked significant improvement. However, there is still some delay, and it's part of what I think we have also raised with the health committee, that the process of making claims
that there is, I am picking from what Senator Kisang, Senator Tobiko said, and Senator Kavindu said about the facilities being self-sustained. If you look at the report on the fund administrator by the infamous CPA Julius Kimboy, there is a missed target government. For example, in Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, you had projected to collect 239 million, but you ended up collecting 155 million. In Nandi Hills, the target was 40 million, you collected at 1 million. That's a slight difference of 9 million. In Meteitei Sub-County Hospital, your target was 13.2 million, but you ended up collecting 5.4 million. In Kaptuma Sub-County Hospital, you targeted 18.8 million, but you collected 7.14 million. In Mosoria Sub-County Hospital, your target was 7.9, you ended up collecting 5.1. Kabiet Sub-County Hospital, your target was 12.1, but you ended up collecting 4.3. In Cherargei Sub-County Hospital, your target was 5.9 million, but you ended up a paltry 2.9 million. According to the auditor report, this was a mid-target of non-collection of 41%. I have seen the results that has been advanced by you, because by the fact that you are the one submitting this report, you allude to two results. And that is where my questions will come from. That they were health workers strike, and hence there was no revenue. So you need to justify before this committee how many times did the nurses, and I remember when there was supposed to be industrial action, you are on record on several occasions that you have averted by negotiating with the unions. Then why does it become a reason? Number two, you say there was delay in supply and delivery of medical commodities, especially drugs, to hospitals. But on record, you have always insisted that there is enough drugs in a hospital. So why are you advancing a contradicting statements, yet you are doing under collection? And now you yourself, you have said on record, if the facility does not collect as per the FIF Act, it might not end up to be sustainable. That is my question one. Question number two, in Cherargei, and let me pick Kapsabet and Cherargei. Kapsabet, the newborn mother unit is yet to be complete up to now. So what is the implication of collection of this target that you are projecting? And number two, in Cherargei, the project that you are doing is not yet complete or installed. Does it affect the projection of your revenue? That will be my question number two, Chair. Number three, I thought you have said, because I have seen your own source revenue reports, that the collection of revenue has been automated. Is it true that in facilities that are mentioned from Kapsabet, Nandi, Meteitei, Kaptuma, Mosoria, Kabiet, Cherargei, do they have an automated system of collection of revenue? That will be my number three. And I hope, Governor, you are noting so that it is easy for you to answer. Let me finish with this, Chair. And I want to look at their documents which they are provided. Chair, this will be my final question, Governor. on the use of goods and services. I find it interesting in your expenses, which are necessary. For example, you in use and goods, that is note number 7 in your financial statements, and I hope your staff are kind enough to show you. That is page 19, note number 7 on your financial statements. You did general expenses of 2.1 million. You went ahead and did printing and stationery of 4.5 million. General office expenses, you were 2.1. I hope chair members are noting this. And then you go ahead and do printing and stationery at 4.5 million. Then you go ahead and do computer accessories at 1.2 million. So when you talk about general office expenses, what do you mean? Because for me, and then interesting expenses, Governor, that you have done, you have catering of 3.4 million. So I assume people take chai and mandazi. With noting that in your financial statement, which belongs to the patients in food and ratios, is 4.6 million. But in catering services, Chair, you are spending 3.4 million, which doesn't add up. So you will give us a justifiable reasoning. Governor, another expenses which I find it unfortunate is the health celebrations. I don't know whether you are celebrating that people in Nandi are health, or what do you mean? And you spend 2.1 million on health celebrations. And then, Chair, that's why I will need convincing, because Governor, I have heard you talking about SHA, the delay in remittances, the sustainability of our hospitals. Chair, and I have noted another thing, Chair, and I hope members will bear with me. Subscription, no, sorry, that is okay. You are spending almost a quarter of water expenses, 800,000. You are spending on airtime, telephone, and communication expenses of 480,000. But water, you are spending it at 800,000. Chair, you now have visited a number of facilities, including the latest at Combe dispenser, and they have a challenge with water. So all this, Chair, I have tallied, Governor, in your unnecessary expenses, because rental supplies, medical cases, medical laboratory reagents, branding linen, which is understandable, the issue of fuel and oil transport, which is 2.6 million, fuel for production. I will need clarity, Governor, because that is why this clerical error came, by the way, because you are saying fuel and oil for transport, 2.6 million. Then you say fuel for production, 815,000. So, Chair, I have total unnecessary expenses comes to around 12.8 to 13 million. From general office expenses, catering, health celebrations, printing and stationery, computer accessories, telephone and communication expenses. And I have found an interesting thing, Chair. Governor, do you outsource consultant services because you have paid 776,000? Who are these people? Does it mean you have professional? Does it mean Nandi County and your chief officer of health is here? Does it mean Nandi County lacks some of the professionals, and that is why you are outsourcing consultancy services, where you are paying in one financial year 776,000? So, Chair, you can look in unnecessary and unfortunate expenses. It comes to more than 13 million Kenya shillings, which comes to almost a half, or even almost a half of pharmaceutical supplies of 26 million. That is why the governor has argued that there is delay there is not an availability of drugs, because he is spending it on unnecessary expenses. So my question, Governor, what is the justifiable reasoning or spending these 12 million in health celebrations, in general office expenses, in printing and stationery, in computer accessories, in airtime, in professional consultancy? And MAQ, I will assist by guiding you that when you talk about catering, there is already a provision of food and ratio, which I assume this is one is being supplied to the patients. or 4.6. Even if you are to say doctors and nurses are consuming 3.4, they are almost consuming the same as the patients, yet the patients are much more. So that will be my third and final question. Shall I yield the ground?
There are so many questions. I don't know whether, Governor, you are writing down all of them.
But I requested, Chair, if you had, I requested him to write it down.
Chair, yeah. I think, and maybe we just need guidance, analyzing the details of a budget was not an audit query. If we needed those details and the Senator wants those details and the committee
Chair, on point of order, on Article 229(4), it says the Parliament shall consider.
Kindly allow me to talk. You have had your bite. To a forum come specifically to address ourselves to specific questions and specific issues. Details of analyzing the item by item of the budget, there is a whole process of how a budget is arrived at. It's not a decision of the governor. The budget is not done by the governor. It is done by various institutions, including public participation, including the county assembly, and therefore the details of those discussions of this one and this and this, if then the senator needs details on those ones and we are communicated in writing in good time, we can respond so that we can be able to give specific responses to each of those questions. But really, if you look at what we came, the audit queries, we are here to respond. If we allow that kind of questioning, then I might then require to have a whole team, but also in good time for us to discuss. So I think what the Senator has raised, valid as they are, if you can be able to share with us in writing, we can be able to respond to all those issues. But really, it would be fair that we are able to deal with audit queries as captured and, on the basis of what I was invited to come and respond to, than really to go on, on a mission that, again, I am able to respond on top of my head on those issues. Yet, we have a whole team and a whole process and a procedure how budgets are done. I may even find when a budget is done, even if you have concerns as a governor that maybe this should have been, that is why it is, we provide a budget that goes to the assembly, it goes through public participation, it is amended, certain things are changed based on the input of the public and the county assembly, and therefore when the budget finally is approved, it may not be exactly what the governor had provided for. So really, let's just be fair so that it doesn't look like this budget is drawn exclusively by the governor. And if we want to have a discussion on the budget and the entire budget line by line, I think a better forum, should then be availed so that then we can have that discussion. So, Chair, I think let's just be fair in terms of what needs to be responded.
I think what Senator Cherargei was doing was that the query on budget and performance, it showed there were variances between what was budgeted and what was actually spent. So what he was trying to analyze is actually the financial statements that and linking it to that query, that maybe the expenditure was varied from the budget because of the transaction that are listed here. So I think he was struggling to try and link that to the budget performance. But anyway, let me give him a chance to respond.
And then I think you have captured partly what I had asked. I was just looking at the budget performance and control. And even I asked a basic question to the governor. Do we need hiring of consultancy services? You should have said we don't have a gynecologist, for example, or oncologist, and say that's the reason we pay. It is a simple question. So, Governor, Chair, what can happen if the governor would want to respond on budget priority that are on his own financial statements, and then the committee can write a letter to him. But my other questions the governor has avoided is even a simple question, revenue collection from Kapsabet all the way to Kaiboi hospitals, are they automated? Governor, do we need a meeting? I thought it's a yes or no, and which company is doing the collection? I thought that was a very fair question. And another question was why you are missing your targets in terms of revenue collection. And then number three, Chair, because we are on budget performance and control, is on the issue of priority. My question, Governor, the reason I was giving an examples of your own audit, and I know your fund manager is there, is I was asking, do we need to spend in your own financial statements, which is not generated by the Senate or OAG, do we need a priority of 13.1 million as opposed to 26 million that we are using to buy drugs? And then finally, Chair, Governor, the committee can write and request for details on those line-by-line budget. So, Governor, you are arguing before this committee in Article 229, Parliament shall consider reports from OAG. Then, Governor, why should we have this meeting if you can write written submissions and you don't need to appear before this committee? Because if we cannot ask clarification in consideration process to process our audit reports that will be tabled, then why should we have a meeting? Is it necessary? So if you can answer the 4 questions on the budget line, the committee can write, then you can respond. But can you respond on the issue of a collection of revenue, the target that you have missed, the issue of priority, and the issue of the automation? And I ask a very basic question. You and me know that, and Chair, it is on record, and it is on the audit report of 23-24, that you had most of your stalled projects are linked to hospitals. And I was asking, could it be the reason that you are conducting? Because newborn mother and baby in Kapsabet is yet to be finished. Your own hospital, which is in Kobuja, is yet to be finished. Kapsengere is yet to be finished. Chepterwai is yet to be finished. And it is in the audit report, which is part of this consideration. And I was asking, could it be the reason why you are missing your revenue target and therefore affecting the budget performance, which is part of the audit query? So for the governor to say the issue of budget is not an audit query is misleading this committee, because one of the audits that are here is on the budget performance and control. So can he answer the questions, or if he doesn't want to answer, we can leave it at that?
Well, maybe I can give your point is well noted, Senator. Your point is well noted.
Chairman,
yes,
nobody has underplayed the importance of appearing before the Senate. But also, we could come here and we have a whole discussion on literally everything under the sun. It is possible. But I think for effective utilization of the time before the committee, the order has been that then you come and respond to audit queries. And that is my simple thing. I'm not saying that what he's asking is not, but get a forum for us to discuss those ones so that we have those details. But then if you discuss,
these are audit queries.
Why don't you listen?
This is on the audit report.
Yeah, let him finish.
Unless the governor, sorry, Chair, unless I didn't get him right, I thought the governor has a benefit of the audit report. The questions I'm asking is emanating from the budget.
If the senator can spend more time listening, because he is speaking, and even when I am responding, he is speaking.
I'm active listener. And I think the governor is taking this meeting casually, because the questions I'm raising, to be fair, even members here, Is I'm asking valid question, is our systems of collection of revenue hospital automated? Does it need a literature explanation, Chair?
Okay, let me direct this.
Yeah.
We have our fiscal analyst here. You are there.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the issue here is the query on budget control and performance. And the senator is trying to relate this to the financial statement. So we will ask you, because we need to make progress, to analyze what he has pointed out and then draw a parallel with that query of budget control and performance. Then the committee at report writing stage will make a decision on that matter. Because I'm saying we are going to have we are going to spend a lot of time on this back and forth.
Chair, maybe with fiscal analysts, what is the revenue potential of Nandi? Under CRA.
Thank you, Senator. Through the chair, under CRA, based on the latest report they gave, that is a report on the year 2022, states that Nandi County, the revenue potential was around 4,353,000,000. That is based on that report. However, as a county specific, based on their target for the year under review, the target was 558,329,869, and they collected 307 million, which is appropriation is around 55% based on what their target and what they actually collected. Thank you, Chair.
That is the reason, Chair. That's why I was asking, because even when you look at the overall on-source revenue, they are still missing the target, just the potential. And maybe, Chair, so that we close that question. So does it mean Governor will not answer my questions? So that I leave it, I know how to answer.
No, I think what the Governor is implying,
yes.
He had prepared to respond.
But Chair, let me ask you a simple. I have just asked, is our systems automated? Does it need to prepare? It is something basic.
Yes or no?
It's a yes or no. And then if you consultant services, I have asked, do we have oncologists, for example? He can say, no, that is the reason we hire.
Chair.
So it's simple.
Okay, let us allow him.
Chair, we can write a whole letter, then he can come and answer another day, if that will assist him to answer.
No. Let us allow the Governor to take quality time to give an explanation, and then we move. Because
so, Chair, I will respond to the issues that touch on our appearance here. On the question of automation, yes, all our revenue collection collection processes are automated. 2 consultancy services, we provide radiology services in Kapsabet. We do not have, radiologists and certain other consultants that we have to pay consultancy services for them to provide those services. So we have those categories of specialists that we do not have, that we have to outsource their services. In terms of the projects, the various projects that are ongoing within the county, FIF is not financing, the various infrastructure projects that are ongoing. They are being supported or they are being funded by the county budget. FIF largely targets the resources that are being raised within the hospital from the services that we offer, and the same money goes to the services and goes to supporting the continuity of those services. So there are no infrastructure projects like the ones that you have mentioned that are being funded by this. Chair, in terms of prioritization and budget, rationale, I think that is a discussion that we are happy to engage if the details are given in terms of what the Senator wants to know, and we can be able to respond to those ones.
I think, Chair, the Governor did not get me very well with a lot of intelligence. But Chair, I didn't mean that I'm aware FIF does not find infrastructure. I was saying this matters has been raised, and I was trying to tie up that could it be the reason you are missing revenue target by 41% in collection of revenue within the health facilities. I didn't mean that you are using FIF to fund, because we know the law. So that does it affect the performance of collection of revenue within the health facilities within Nandi?
No, it does
just
not.
My simple question.
It does not. Yeah. I think we need to make progress. As I directed, your issue that you have pointed out, we will allow the fiscal analyst to analyze it further and give us a report as a committee. Senator Mudam?
No, Chair, because you have ruled, I think I hear the frustrations of Senator Cherargei, but I think you should just direct that even if the governor was not ready today, you can respond back with a letter. You can write back with the answers. Thank you.
We will wait for the fiscal analyst to give us a report, and then based on that report, then we can write to the governor. Senator Chimera, put yourself on record.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. Good afternoon, Governor and your team. My name is Senator Chimera, Senator from Kwale County, member of this committee.
Maybe before we end, we have a last query there, which members thought that they just need some direction from the governor on what the county is doing to address it. Lack of an internal audit function and audit committee for this fund. Governor, maybe you can tell us more about it.
So, Chair, the internal audit function was affected by a staff audit process that was ongoing in Nandi County, and we are saying that that internal audit unit would be serving the county, but also all the funds under being run by the county government, and therefore we are as I have indicated, the management is actively coordinating with Public Service Board to prioritize and facilitate the deployment of dedicated internal auditors, the auditor to the FIF section at the earliest opportune time possible. And going forward, the fund will rely on the expertise of the audit committee, which has been constituted at the county level.
Okay, Mark, I would like to hear from you. Your comment on that issue.
Yes, Chair. That one is it's a requirement under the PFM that each facility has, each fund or each entity has its internal audit function. But maybe, Chair, maybe the question then I would want to ask is if going forward the implementation of FIF Act 2023 may require the dissolution of this fund, maybe the governor may need to have internal audit function in each hospital, because then it will be an audit query in 24-25 if there is no internal audit in each facilities. And maybe the continued existence of this fund also may raise another audit query in terms of implementation of FIF 2023. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, maybe Governor, you see now, that's why we were saying at some point you may need to relook at this fund. Because if you are having an internal audit in every hospital, then again you have another one for the FIF fund. It is in itself very expensive. And because the law insists on that, it will continue being an audit query. So there are so many things that are pulling you to the fact that you may need to relook at the whole thing of county FIF and maybe just comply with the national FIF. Senator Cherargei?
I think, Chair, Governor, when was this staff audit? Which year? When were you doing staff audit?
Last year,
2024. And there is a public service report to that effect.
Yeah.
So my question is, this matter was raised two financial years ago in 22-23. 23-20, is it 23-24? So, and you know these internal audit mechanisms play a critical role of oversight. So we are in We are in August of 2025. Are there any minutes that OAG has seen with your intention of establishing an internal audit committee? Is there any minutes that has been considered and has been shown to the OAG for particular, because Chair, this audit is important because it plays oversight to the funds, that if it does this work, these matters cannot be raised or escalated to even OAG or even, and you know, this oversight should have even assisted CPA fund manager by looking at some of the lapses. So, Governor, before you did staff audit, is there minutes to show the intention of establishing this internal audit committee?
No, the internal audit committee is there. What was affected are the staff under the internal audit department function in the county, but the audit committee exists.
OAG, then why you flag that there was lack of internal audit function and audit committee in your audit report? Are you aware of this existence of this audit committee? Because there should be minutes of them sitting, doing their job, their allowances being paid. I've seen 1.5 million. I don't know whether it's part of the audit in their financial statements. Through the chair.
Proceed, Governor.
It was to the OAG first.
OAG, please.
Because the governor said it exists, but in your report you doubt the functionality and existence.
Chair, for this report, we were just pointing out that there is no committee for the FIF, but there is the main committee in the hospital. That's in the county, I mean. There is the audit committee, but for this one, there is none.
But through the chair, during your discussion with the entity, did you indicate to them the need to have the audit committee, and did they show any intention of even giving you minutes of meetings to establish the same committee?
We discussed about it during the audit, but we don't have any minutes to that effect.
So as of now, within the knowledge of your work, is non-existent. So, Chair, I think the committee will deal with this matter when they are writing their report.
Yes. Okay, very well. So I think we proceed to the next fund, which is the bursary education fund. Over to you, Auditor. You take us through the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report of the Auditor General on Nandi County Education Fund for the year ended 30th June 2024. The first issue, Chair, is presentation and disclosure of the financial statements. The financial statements presented for audit was not page numbered according to the requirements of the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, whereby the page where the financial statement starts with page 29 instead of page 1. Thank you, Chair.
I think in our pre-meeting, honorable members, we said that the query on presentation and disclosure of financial statement and the query on misstatement of bank charges account and the query on misstatements in cash book be handled together, because they have an element of accounting inaccuracies and errors and such. So, Auditor, you can read.
Thank you,
you
Chair.
can read the three queries, and then the Governor will respond to the three issues. Then members, you can now raise queries and comments. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next query is number 4, misstatement of bank charges account amounts. Note 12 of the financial statements disclosed bank charges amount of Kenya shillings 471 and 62. However, the respective schedules disclosed bank charges of Kenya shillings 474, 428, resulting to a variance of Kenya shillings 3,365 that has not been reconciled and explained. Further, no supporting document was provided to support the bank charges amount of Kenya shillings 471,062 as disclosed in note 12 in the financial statements. The next chair is number 6, misstatements in cash books. During the year under review, the fund management prepared cash books. However, the fund did not provide the petty cash book and Board of Survey certificates for confirmation of bank balance. In addition, an analysis revealed that the management spent Kenya shillings 4,243,000 on administration costs, while the Excel cash book had a balance of Kenya shillings 3,645,790, leading to a variance of Kenya shillings 597,210. Thank you, Chair.
So, honorable members, the first query is about compliance to the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board in terms of numbering of reports. The second query, misstatement of bank charges. There was a small variance of 3,365 shillings in terms of the bank charges in the shillings. And then the last misstatement of cash book, it means there was a misstatement of cash book amounting to 587,000. So, Governor, maybe you can respond to each of those queries.
Chairman, under query 1, the management response is that the error arose during the final compilation and printing of the financial statements. The omission is highly regrettable and will not occur again. The financial statements hereby annexed under Annexure 1 is the amended one. Under 4, misstatement of bank charges. The response, Chair, is that the variance arose from a clerical error during the preparation of the supporting schedules, where the total bank charges was erroneously captured. The reconciliation has been undertaken to confirm the correct figure of Kenya shillings 471 and 62 as evidenced by the bank statement in Annex 3. And number 6, Chair, the misstatement in cash book. The management response is that the above documents could not be provided at the time because of the challenges occasioned by the staff audit. The petty cash book and the Board of Survey certificate has since been provided, and it is Annexure 5. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. Auditor, I would like to get your comment on the 3 responses.
Thank you, Chair. Number 1, on presentation and disclosure of the financial statements, management did not comply with the reporting templates as at that time. Then the next, on misstatement of bank charges amounts. Mr. Chairman, no evidence in the bank statements attached. Then finally, Mr. Chairman, number 6, misstatement in cash books. The Excel cash book was not accurate, and Board of Survey report and analysis cash book was not provided. Thank you, Chair.
Let me start with members of the committee first, and then I will go to the friend of the committee. Senator Kisang.
You know, Chair, what the auditor is saying, you know, after reading the question, the governor responded and there are things the governor said they are already provided, and I thought the auditor was going to respond to what the governor said, but he has just repeated what he had said earlier. Because what he should have said then, they have already provided, in this particular, when we told them to come to the committee, but you didn't receive the documents during audit. This basically leading to late submission of documents. That's what I thought it will come from the auditor, but he has just repeated himself.
Any other from
Chair, with all tremendous respect, I don't know whether the OAG is the witness or the governor, but that is a story for another day. Chair, what the clarity I needed through the governor is Kamel here, the fund administrator. Is Kamel Cheruta Talam. Governor?
No, she's not there. She left.
So who is she standing? She was here with us. She was here with us, Governor. She's also sick, or what is happening?
Point of order, Chair. Chair, yes. I think in all due respect to the Senator of Nandi, his line of questioning, I think he should allow the auditor first to respond to the concerns of the member.
Then, Chair, I also take offense. I was asking the auditor a question. And then the senator, who is a friend of the committee from Nandi, is asking who is supposed to be queried. The auditor also here needs to give us clarity. We are not relying only on the responses from the county. We also need the auditor to help the committee. So I take offense from what the senator from Nandi said.
Okay. Auditor, please respond to the senator from Elgeyo Marakwet.
Thank you, Chair. I'm saying that the presentation and disclosure of financial statements, actually financial statements cannot be amended once we are done with the audit. The certificate is out. That's what I'm saying. That management did not comply with the reporting templates. So that issue we can't resolve unless it's now up to the committee, because the financial statements were wrong done and signed.
I think Senator Cherargei was trying to find out which accountant signed. Can you check your records and tell us?
No, Chair, I think I was finding out where is Kamel Talam, is the fund manager.
That was the fund manager then, but she left. She left
so
the county. Now we have a new fund manager.
What is or his good name?
Kosgei, Nicholas Kosgei.
Or Nicholas Kosgei. So this Kamel left the county. The governor is not. She no longer works. So, Chair, I know if you have seen, and I hope the committee has noted this, that there is competency and capacity, but there are so many errors, because presentation of financial statements, these are first year class of accounting. So, Chair, now the immediate boss of SCAMEL was Chief Officer of Finance and Chief Officer of Governor. Who is the immediate boss of SCAMEL? Talam. Is it the CC Finance or the Chief Officer?
The Chief Officer.
Of Finance or Education?
Administratively Education, functionally Finance.
Chair, because I see these are the same errors that can be traced back to FIF when they were doing, because presentation of financial statement should be something. Governor, let me just ask a basic question. Do you have faith in the capacity and ability of your officers? Because looking at presentation and disclosure of financial statements, misstatement, and provision of documentation, do you have faith in the ability and capacity of your staff? Because you can see these small things, we should be discussing better things, as you have said. Do you have faith so that we don't waste a lot of time in the staff that work for you?
I have faith in them, but I also have faith in continuous improvement. So we have to continuously build and improve the capacity of our staff.
So if I ask you, with errors like the human error our brother talked about, presentation of disclosure, misstatement, are you willing to take administrative action against these officers for omitting basic errors?
Yes.
Okay. I think the committee can take it from there.
I think, honorable members, we, as I said earlier, we have had this problem with not just this fund, we have had it with the FIF and even the other funds. And Governor, you promised that you are going to do an improvement. And CEC you also promised us. So I think we do not want a repeat of this in the next engagement we are going to have for 2024-2025. Otherwise, the committee is still left with the decision to make as to what they are going to do to the accountants involved.
Maybe, Chair, in addition, would the governor be kind enough to report back on the administrative action he has taken against the said officers before you do your report writing, so that when it comes to the floor and some of us read who are friends of the committee, we can be easier to have the last view of the action that the committee will take. Thank you.
In the previous engagement we had for Nandi, I think we gave them an opportunity to go and reorganize the team in the finance, and that reorganization, I think we give them a chance to prove, so that in the next financial year 2024-2025, if this recurs, then we will know that very little was done, and someone will face an administrative process. Mark?
Yeah, maybe to further improve on management and to deal with the misstatements. The query on misstatement refers to Excel cash book, so maybe if they're automated and we're able to use a software, some of these challenges will be addressed. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking that is the governor has agreed that he will take administrative action. So as a reporting mechanism, he should be able to write back as per your direction in our previous engagement, where you are directed that administrative action be taken. So what I was requesting and you are ruling is that you direct the governor to report back on the action that you gave the ruling, maybe in the next coming days. I'm not saying immediate today, so that when your report will come to the floor, as the area senator, I would be able to track on what we had discussed before this committee. Thank you.
Well, administrative action, you know, many people think that administrative action is a punishment. It can also be training. It can also be reorganization. So I think in our interim recommendations, we can highlight that so that the governor can maybe in 30 days, you can tell us what administrative action you have taken.
You know, Chair,
administrative action is not necessarily punishment.
No. Chair, some of us who did law, we beg to differ with you. Administrative, on a lighter note, it does not mean retraining on capacity building. It is taking the disciplinary action against the same member. And that is why even in our parliamentary powers and privileges, the administrative action that can be taken against the member is to apologize, to be punished, to withdraw, to be fined. So, Chair, the retooling and retraining does not capture, because the interpretation of administrative action in labor codes has been litigated on. But just that is for discussion, the terms of the interpretation of what administrative action is.
Oh, okay, let me rephrase it and say this. Let me rephrase it so that we don't appear like we are contradicting what we had said earlier. We said earlier that we will allow the finance department under the governor to reorganize themselves through training or through getting the relevant qualified people to handle some of these assignments. And then they come back to us in writing about what they have done. I do not want to go into the aspect of administrative action because we have said the committee is going to make a decision on the issue of the accountants and section 62. Yeah, so I don't want to preempt what the committee is going to say.
I don't want to defy your ruling, but you know you are a very good neighbor.
Yeah.
Vihiga is neighboring Nandi. When you use the word that they might be unqualified people in office, I get worried. And you know, my people are well learned. In fact, among our subtribe, our community leads in most of the brilliant professionals. So I take an exception when you say, unless the governor confirms otherwise, to say they could be unqualified people in office, and therefore you are giving the chance CEC to get the qualified people. Maybe, Governor, you need to protect our county. You are leaving our county people to imagine that we have unqualified people in office.
But through you, Chair, the reason why the Chair is talking like that, Senator Cherargei, is because there are many errors in the report, in the financial report. There are many errors. So these errors should not be coming. That's why the governor is talking like that. So if
so the governor,
if they are all that qualified, then where are the errors coming from, Cherargei?
Yeah. So maybe, thank you, Senator Gavindo, through you, Chair, with the intelligence, can the governor confirm? Because do we have unqualified people in these offices, Governor? No, Chair, that is a very serious statement because the jury is outside there. Because your words are so serious and it goes to answer.
No.
That you have directed the CCM to go and reorganize and get qualified people. So the reverse of that statement is the unqualified people that are committing these errors.
You see, as we have seen, you remember in the other report we did,
yes,
when we asked who is the accountant who signed, most of them were qualified ISPAC members.
Yes.
Qualified. But in the previous presentation by CEC, he indicated that they have a shortage. So they will try to see how to manage the few people they have and see how they can be reorganized so that we do not have these issues happening.
So we agree with you, Chair, in my own interpretation, that these errors that we have seen in both FIF and Education Bursary Fund are professional misconduct because we have people who are qualified in office. They were just derelicting their duty. And I'm happy the governor has said he will take administrative action. And then the committee will also give direction on that matter. The governor has been on record. But for the purposes, we have so many qualified people from my county.
Let's leave it there because we have said we are going to make a decision.
But I can see the governor wants to say something.
Oh, come don't block Chair, the Senator of Nandi has made, I rarely agree with him, but he has made a good defense of the county. So, and our...
For once, the governor is smiling.
So I agree. We have qualified people. I think, as I have indicated, administrative action includes what you said as chair, but also what Senator Chimera and Senator Cherargei have said. So we are properly guided, Chair.
Okay, let's proceed to the next query. Unsupported committee seating allowance, auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Unsupported committee seating allowances. The statement of financial performance reflects use of goods. Number 3, and then number. And then number 1, under report on lawfulness, failure to detect income tax from sitting allowance. The statement of financial performance reflects use of goods and services, amount of Kenya shillings 5,153,352, which includes committee expenses of Kenya shillings 4,243,000 as disclosed in Note 12 to the financial statements. However, the payment was made without effecting income tax deductions as required by Section 3, Subsection 2 and 37 of the Income Tax Act, Cap 470, which provides that an employer paying emoluments to an employee should deduct therefrom the amount and account for tax thereon before the 10th day following the end of the month. The applicable tax at the rate of 30% amounts to Kenya shillings 1,404,687. Hence, the contravention of the tax may attract penalties in accordance with Section 72D and 94 of the Act. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. So, honorable members, this query, as we discussed, was an issue of the sitting allowance, which was not supported by any documentation. And then, again, they did not deduct the taxes for those sitting allowance. So, Governor, you can respond to the two queries.
Honorable Chair, the file with the necessary supporting documents with regard to query number 3, with the necessary supporting documents have been availed and they are attached in Annex 2. Of course, we admit that that was not provided at the time, at the right time. And also for audit query number 7, the management response has initiated an engagement with the Kenya Revenue Authority to agree on a payment plan on all the tax arrears. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor, your comment on the response?
Thank you, Chair. The first one on unsupported sitting allowance, we have confirmed, the Chair, that they have the meeting minutes and of course the attendance registers has been provided. So it's now for the committee to consider that. And then, Chair, however, of course, with the was submitted later now to consider that. And then on failure to detect the income allowances, Chair, management of course has not complied with the Income Tax Act up to now. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Mbugu.
Thank you, Chair. Governor, you've said you are going to take action on some of your staff. I think the first person you need to consider is the person who represents you during the exit meetings with the auditors. Because some of these matters which are coming and you are here to answer them, they should not be here. The file has been provided. If it was provided to the auditors, then this query will not be here. So the person who represents you with those meetings is really letting you down, and I don't know who he is.
Yes, Chair. Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Chair. Two issues, Chair. Number one is on the issue of the documentation. Governor, I don't know why it is not possible when these guys are carrying the audit exercise, documents are suddenly not available. But when it comes to this committee, documents are available in bundles and bundles, Governor. So perhaps you might need to address that. And secondly, I feel your response on the issue of this income tax. And by the way, it speaks to the competence of your staff now again, because if staff at the county level cannot comply to very simple regulations like the income tax regulations, then that speaks to the quality of staff you have, which Senator Cherargei was really defending here. My issue is that the response is fairly...
And clarity, I didn't defend the incompetent staff of the governor. I defended the people of Nandi by saying we have qualified people. Maybe the governor employed the wrong people. Thank you.
Okay, that is well noted. I also have an interest in that county, Chair, so my words will be measured today. The response by Governor, Chair, is very casual. You know, when you're telling us you've engaged KRA to agree on a payment plan, KRA is not the ones who received these allowances, Governor. What is the plan on the recipients of these allowances? Are they still receiving allowances with this income tax still pending. I'm paying them with allowances, and then you have an agreement with KRA. We want to understand and hear what agreement is there to tangibly recover this tax that was erroneously paid to the recipients, being the committee members, and not what you agree with KRA. Thank you, Chair.
And Chair, also, what happens to the committee members who has already left the organization?
Senator Kisang?
Chair, first response is you say there is an annex detailing the directors, and members have said because the county should not pay on behalf of them. They should be having letters also writing to the committee members if they are still around, so that it can be recovered. Secondly, Honorable Chair, 7 is they are saying they have an agreement with KRA on any communication between the county and KRA, so that we can have some comfort that there is something that has been initiated here. So where is the communication?
Let me give a chance to Governor to respond to that first set of questions, and then we can have a second set.
Before Governor responds, for KRA, for them to be able to negotiate with KRA on a payment plan, there has to be an issue where KRA is aware. Senator Kisang's question is very crucial. The governor is reporting himself to KRA, or there is any documentary of this matter, and that's why they are agreeing on a payment plan. Otherwise, I feel this response should not even be in these documents, Chair. It is very casual. I mean, it is insulting the...
Governor, proceed.
Thank you.
Ask the CEC to respond on my behalf.
Thank you, Chair. Through the Governor, one, Chair, is that we have many obligations that are pending regarding KRA, and KRA are on a weekly basis in our office when we're trying to reconcile a number of the tax obligations that are due. So most of the meetings that we actually have, Chair, is that we do not necessarily take minutes, but all the issues that pertains to KRA are raised within that meeting. On this particular issue of the allowances is holding agent, so we didn't withhold as a, and these committee members are still in office, so is from their allowances going forward, and KRA definitely to pay the full amount. The good thing, Chair, is that it's not so huge because we pay 10,000 to the committee members and the sittings are not so many. So as soon as we have the they'll allow us to pay that less the penalties. Going forward in the subsequent sittings, they deduct the amount, the 30%, and pay the members net sent to KRA. We'll check in case of any member who's left cover from their subsequent earnings going forward. Thank you, Chair.
So, has that addressed all the questions that members were asking?
Chair, through the Governor, yes, indeed. Confirmation is that our last meeting. Thank you.
So there are two parts. There is the recovery of tax, which you can easily do, and you are saying you have done it. Maybe you will need to give us the evidence that it is, which you are engaging KRA. So again, it will be good to have that evidence, because it is not on the file. The evidence that you are engaging KRA tax that was supposed to have been paid. It is not in your documents.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, indeed. With KRA, we usually have a physical meeting. Then they give us a letter. As soon as then we have the letter, it shows whatever is standing in form of withholding taxes, committee allowances. Perhaps that would be the document that would then be able to.
Okay, but what do you say about the late submission of documents?
On the issue of late submission, Chair, as really inexcusable. We, in the last presentation in this committee, we asked that in terms of ensuring that the team does what is required, and already the reorganization that has happened is such that most being dealt with. Thank you.
Chair, I just want to ask the people responsible not to hand over these documents to the Auditor General when for auditors asking for these documents. What made you not deliver the documents to them at the right time? Why should they follow?
Thank you. Through the chair and through the governor, is that specifically on the issue of the issues were a bit specific, because whereas we still had the human resource audit, the staff that was the same staff apparently transitioning out of the county, so those issues of engaging with a new organization may have affected her effectiveness in sorting this issue. Yeah, but really it's the staff audit.
Chair. Sorry.
Yeah, what do you mean to anywhere else? And you know, as you answer these questions, there is no vacuum in government offices.
By the PSC meant that we needed to regularize some of the hiring processes, and therefore any staff that perhaps was picked or whose files were picked that needed regularization really were not then had to. So that is the actual effect that happened. But of course, while being at home, some of the staff also need to get opportunities elsewhere. So the interface between the staff really affected the whole process of shepherding the audit.
Come to Cherargei.
Now, Governor, thank you for handing over me to beg the committee that I believe it is not about, it's about the competence and ability of people working. Because if you have noted these errors, and this the financial year that the staff was still intact is going by the audit that the governor did in 2024, and in that financial year, Chair, 29.8 billion on wages as per the Office of the Auditor General report. In that, brothers can confirm. So the issue, it is not about lack of staff. It is about incompetence and ability. And of disconnect. The only, if you ask a governor the question, just run to say lack of staff. You know, it doesn't make sense, Chair. Number two, I have seen this camel Talam has been given that the good governor has given of 600,000. So I don't Chanja, this forger that has been provided of 600,000, what is the law? Can you give somebody money to go and take money on their, go and pay another one? So you will highlight us. And then Chair, this forger that has been provided, officer and the fund manager. But in this forger, there are things that are missing. The law that no one collected, there was no ID number, there was no amount and the date. So we doubt the authenticity of this payment voucher unless document. So this scammer went away with 600,000 from 7 to 8 December 2023. So, and I still believe the minutes, as my brother Senator Chimera, who is our in-law, because if you look at it, all these issues, even there was the people that were paid, this schedule of attendance at Alliance Hotel, it was only a signature. There is no place that indicated that this money was received. You can see only it was an education scheme meeting for attendance and indicate the amount that were paid for. So the veracity of this document, and you know, Chair, the section 62 of the Public Audits Act is very clear. 62. You should just inform the punishment of lack of document. Don't want cooking to happen so that people can appear before this committee. So and meals that came to service provided to the county government of Nandi. And if so, where is the without a pre-qualification of the, then it is violating the procurement procedure. So can the government obligation and pre-qualification of this company? Governor, finally, I can see you are among the attendee on 6th and 8th December 2020. In this meeting, I can see all these people have been catered for at Royal City Hotel. Were you among, because you are among the attendees of that event? As by the law, you should be and attendance provided for. And finally, forger number 427, although it is unwritten, it says being payment of facilitating officer clearing identification of bursary beneficiaries for financial year 2023 as per the attached schedule. Then there is only the stamp of the vocational, there is the stamp of Nandi County Education Fund and the fund manager, but there are no details. To note that document. Who has been given this money? Forger number 427. But not the details of the officer who picked 1.7 million. So who person? Because in your earlier governor, in your earlier one of 600,000, and in fact the forger number was 420, which is not unwritten, but on this one it is And you have just saying being made to facilitate the officer. Who is this officer that is collecting 1.7 million, and where is she taking? And where? Those will be my 3 questions. Chair, before the governor answers, I don't know, Kinoti and Mark, whether pick the sitting allowances of this committee as the chair of this committee, which I am not, and then I come and give out. Does the law allow? Chair going to pick committee sitting allowances on behalf of people.
For chair, we can allow, not you.
No, sitting allowances, you know, Chimera is excited for things I don't know.
There are those people.
And fight against corruption in the country. You must be very careful. Maybe Mark and Kinoti can say something.
Mark, you can respond, and then let the governor respond also.
What should happen when issuing of interest? Each person should be able to collect their money, because the interest is issued to an individual. So when you surrender, you surrender.
The law under interest is it is issued individually, and that is why when you travel or when
Chair, point of order, Chair. On there's something that Senator is really and I mean for powers of indulgence. But then again, Chair, you know this name Scamel keeps on coming up many times, and I mean. And I'm sure he knows something in law called principles of natural justice. This lady is not before this committee, Chair. But she left the fund as well, Chair. I don't know how we will proceed, and I seek your direction to. And the good senator keeps on referring to her. It is unfair to her wherever she is, Chair. We don't know how we will get her. On referring to her, and the principle of natural justice protect her from these kind of issues, Chair. Thank you.
Discussion. Senator Kavindu had said there is no vacuum in office. When you take office, you take assets and liabilities, and the considering here, the governor has sworn before. So anything that will come out of this confirmation under oath. So therefore, with all tremendous respect to my in-law, Senator Chimera, of paying extra dowry, Chair, because what we are saying is very simple. This Camel is the fund manager. Since Camel is not here and the governor has taken oath and has owned the responses, those officers exist in perpetuity and there are people already in office.
Very well.
Chair, as to authenticity of the document signed by Scamel, we can only get responses from that particular Scamel. And Chair, this committee has powers to summon this particular Scamel. It is wrong. It is not here, Chair.
Honorable members, let us proceed with the issues in the query. Avoid talking about, because the governor has taken an oath on behalf of the county.
Correct.
Very good.
Yeah,
correct.
So let us strictly adhere to the issues.
As a name. So it is up to the governor to guide the committee on his responses, because even, for example, in this payment voucher, it was picked by 2 people. Chief officer, which I believe she's here with us, and the fund manager. So one witness is already here, so we can still rely on that one witness.
The governor is going to guide us on how the questions are going to be responded to.
Yeah.
Let him respond, and he will guide us on how they are going to be responded.
Thank you, Chair. Just allow me again to ask the CEC Finance to respond.
Relating to the payment of the meeting allowances, I'll start with the one for where the request was made by the fund accountant. The schedule attached, Chair, part of it is the allowances to the NASEF committee, which were 2 days. The practice, Chair, has been oftentimes you find that the committee members, through the bank, of course, is the best practice, but sometimes they request that because of the time this may take to clear, they request that the have a schedule showing the name of the committee member and the signing for each of the days and the amount, and then of course as they you can actually trace and see exactly where the final ended. Same case to the amount of Kenya shillings 1.7.
Through the chair, since are you aware so you are contravening the position of the law under the PMF Act?
Chair, I am aware through the chair that yes, indeed. That an accountant would then have to account for it. So when you look at the 600,000, we still have the case of
you know the MAC and the EACC knows this challenge of imprest, where people are being issued imprest and then they end up misusing or generate even fake names. I can say, for example, Chair, that is why this issue is serious. CCM, now that we are speaking through the governor, in all this that the chief officer and fund manager have picked 600,000 and 1.7 million or pick 1.7 million, I can see in your, just using your argument, in the attendance at Allen's Hotel, it is 24 people attended. The last person is Cherargei Top. Was Priska Chepchirchir, of course. Cooking. This is cooking. Na hii imewekwa kachumbari, Chair. $25 people. Where did the extra 2 come from? That's why I was saying this thing is manufactured. And the person who manufactured, Chair, two people human error in payment of 280,000. Chair, you know, in my country, it means somebody who wants to lie, they think they are smart until they are caught. So this receipt of the Allens, who are these accommodation and 25. Because there is no consistency in your attendance sheet. Is there proof of these 2 extra? That is why they cannot give to the office of the...
You have asked a question, Senator. Can you respond?
Can I finish? You will have all the time, Governor. And we are ready to sit up to midnight. So what I'm saying, Governor, and allow me to that the reason the county did not provide documentation during that's why they thought by bringing this documentation to the committee, they that the reason you didn't provide documentation early to AG is because you are aware that these documents were not available. Somebody needed. You have indicated in Alan's restriction.
Can I just help and respond on? No,
so, Chair, can I finish?
Yeah, finish.
Why is the governor in a hurry to answer if he has the answer?
I don't want this back and forth. Just finish your question.
That is why he should.
And then he will respond so that we make progress.
He should. Extra people that came on board in the receipt. Even if you want to say the driver is already here at number 20. On that, please provide us that this Allen's Hotel
to all those issues at once so that we make progress.
Allen's Hotel is a pre-qualified service provider, and if that I can confirm, if we need details and documents, we can provide, because that was not asked. Two, when you have a committee, when you have a sitting, an extra of the fund. When you have a team and a meeting in account, within a meeting supporting the event. So really, those extra two part of the staff supporting the meeting. And the amount being paid there is 1,000 shillings. So really, these are staff, the support staff of a committee. Carrying documents for just to have extra two staff or two members supporting the staff. So
where my good friend governors left.
Yeah.
So if you are spending, is that what the governor is saying? Number two, that's why I'm arguing that this document was manufactured. In number 2022 on the attendance it is signed, but there is no ID number. That's why I still believe these are manufactured documents. Chair, can I just, I hope you are, Secretariat, I hope you have gone on record. George. They should not eat, they should sleep in silence. So, Chair, can I after the NASEF meeting allows, look at number 22, prescriptive. The part of the ID is empty, but it is signed. That is my strong reason. And Governor, you and me are public officers. Where, even if you have come with your driver or PA, that if they are attending an official meeting like this, that you are catering for their accommodation, for their meals, for them to sign, even if it is 100 shillings. So, Chair, these are manufactured. There is no ID of the CEO of Finance, but it is signed.
think let me direct this. This touches on section 62 of the Public Audit Act. Because the documents have been provided, yes, but they were provided after the audit.
Indulgence is, can you also copy the documents inclusive of the late submission of documents so that we can verify the authenticity?
Chair, that is the work of the auditor. The auditor, you said you spent so the auditor is the one who has in the accuracy of the documents before, not us. So the auditor, please say something on that.
And maybe, Chair, I mean, if it's about the attendance of that meeting, she can confirm, if you can allow.
The governor, just listen to me, Chair. Because if she wants to be the witness, so that we can take it seriously. Chair, just in conclusion, so that as we have directed that this auditor, if you look at number 22, that's why and committee members bear with me. It says Unix Cherargei. Who is misleading who? I'm willing to provide. It is there. It is annex number 2. After the one of 600,000, you go to the letter that was written by fund manager. Then the third. You need to be fair. You need to be fair, Governor. Give kila mtu at least a... Chair, it is here.
Yeah, we have seen it. We have seen it. But so,
I don't want to use the word lie. Who is misleading?
Let's listen to the auditor.
Verify documents, we just go for fairly stated, and we believe that management initially we believe that management they are not doing any games. So for this one we checked, and of course we saw that Kipchumba didn't have a BF number, and of course the first one. The majority of the documents, according to us, were verified, and so it was very stated, so we passed it. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, maybe moving forward, auditor. Once you do. You should insist that the documents are provided during the time of audit, so that you are not placed in supposed to determine the accuracy of the document. So that way we will move better, because here members here we don't have capacity. It is your job. It is not our job. So moving forward, maybe auditor, you need to insist.
Who should I, Chair, who picked this 1.7 million? Can the government, to Barnabas Talam, which I believe is the sub-county admin or what, 7,000 at the rate of 1,000. The question I have, the impressed one are now being reissued to impress number 2, and then that don't you? The chief officer has picked 1.7. He writes a letter of I think the chief county secretary. That since your officer is there, is she the one that picked 1.7? Because it is stamped.
Chair, let me.
We are past 1, and we have 2 other queries to go.
Yes.
So let him respond comprehensively, and then we make progress.
Thank you, Chair. I think to pick up from the 1.7 million, so when identification exercise that takes 7 days, the team involved in the process, of course, other than the NASEF committee, in the secretariat and the drivers. So just to give lunch is that for the 7 days, the staff, the county staff are just given something for lunch, which in this case, and their full allowances. So there is a schedule there where Senator Cherargei is referring to. Monies were deposited, adding up to the 1.7 million that was requested. Chair of that we contemplated when we set up the fund, and if in terms of the satisfactory nature of what we would want to have the senator satisfied is that because we have all the original documents, we would still be willing to the schedule was submitted to the bank, as you can see, signed off by the chief, so that the bank effects the payments directly. So this was not money given staff, that the staff is carrying 1.7 million shillings. This is a schedule being forwarded to the bank. Thank you.
Chair, maybe while I've seen this schedule, the total sum. It might look that it is justifiable within the reasonable. So, Governor, I would want to know what that 1,000 shillings, because it means a lot to them. If they are serving us in identifying beneficiaries, it is a very important person. So what with this attendance in the earlier one. Number 2, and finally, Chair, this will be the final where the identification of bursary beneficiaries payment schedule, all the sub-counties. There is one that Scholastica has started. 10,000 shillings. It was never stamped. When you go to the other one, but the rest were given 7,000, and it looks was appearing, but now 2 names have reappeared. That is Caroline Chepchumba and Eunice Cherop, which was in the previous. So governor has found it forged, and the authenticity. No one has prepared, no one has approved, and this is their payment. I don't know whether I'm happy the governor has prepared a very good payment voucher, very wonderful, with the are now 4. We have Caroline Chepkemba and Veronica Korir. There is a logo here. Governor, you have prepared a document. You have said prepared by dash designation date and sign. So this document, the authenticity is in question also, Chair.
Retire to make a decision on capacity to determine the accuracy of the document. So for us, our focus will strictly be on section 62.
Chairman.
The OAG has no capacity to determine whether documents are manufactured or not. We rely on section 62, but then again, Chair, so Chair, let's stick to your directions, Chair. If you say it will retreat as a committee meeting today, Chair.
Yeah. But Chair, to be fair to me, since I will not be sitting with you in the retreat, it is better if I go unanswered so that you will be reviewing what I put on record.
Your points have been taken.
Okay.
The committee may not have the capacity to determine whether a document or to request any office or an office that has the capacity to do that to establish. No, Chair.
And and parliamentary, and he was a member of parliament.
Oh, you have also used an parliamentary.
Which parliamentary was?
So
Which
both
one?
of you.
Chair. the governor, why would the OAG questioning the sitting allowances?
You realize I've given you the leeway. Have some decorum between.
No, but you should also direct the chair. It will be in. As petty and scandalous. That's very.
It is the senator who is petty, and
what is on discussion is the OAG report.
but we are discussing what you are saying.
Yeah,
what you are saying is petty.
Governor to be
Point of
scandalous.
order, Chair.
Oh.
Point of
Because
order.
what
Yes, let me give.
Would I be allowed, Chair, to
Bishop?
Point of order.
We have Bishop here. Let me give.
Chair, in this committee, you should.
But Chair, when I was speaking, when the senator was speaking,
Chair, I've been.
Listen,
I have been very measured
Senator
with a lot of
Cherargei.
tremendous, Chair, with a lot of tremendous.
Yeah.
And
we have already, as a committee, we are on what we are going to do. So, Governor, let me allow. Then we move forward. We have two queries to go.
but Chair, you have allowed the senator to prosecute for almost 20-30.
you are allowing, Chair. You need to protect this committee.
You know you are on camera.
452-051, as disclosed in Note 10 to the financial statements, the expenditure related to bursary disbursements to students in universities, TVETs and colleges, secondary schools, and special needs institutions. However, disbursements of Kenya shillings 114,132,102 sent to multiple institutions were not supported by acknowledgement receipts from the receiving institutions. In addition, it was observed that the fund issues checks to individual beneficiary students instead of making lump sum transfers to the beneficiary institutions, thereby increasing administrative costs and the risk of funds not being used for the intended purposes. Next, Chair, is number 9 on the failure to publish list of beneficiaries. The statement of financial performance, and as disclosed in Note 10 and Note 11 to the financial statements, reflects expenditure of Kenya shillings 126,452,051 in respect of bursary transfers and Kenya shillings 1,176,533 in respect of scholarship grants respectively. However, the management of the fund did not publish the list of successful beneficiaries on the county website as required by Section 29, Subsection 1E of the Nandi County Education Fund Act 2016, amended 2023. Thank you, Chair.
Very well. Governor, your management response?
With regard to unconfirmed bursary disbursements, Chair, the acknowledgement receipts from the receiving institutions were received, though some got in late. However, going forward, all the bursaries will be issued electronically through RTGS, where confirmations will be received as soon as the bank clears. This will also address the issue of lump sum payments. Some of the acknowledgement receipts are attached in Annex 6 and 4. And in terms of the response to query number 9, the omission arose from the delays in coordinating with the county ICT department for web content updates and verifications of the final beneficiary data before publication. The list of all the beneficiaries for the year under review has since been uploaded
to the county official website as indicated in that link, Chair. Thank you.
Auditor, your comments on the two responses?
Thank you, Chair. The first one on unconfirmed bursary disbursements, management is in agreement with our observation that they are not able to get all the acknowledgements. Then on number 9 on failure to publish list of beneficiaries, Chair, the website indicated where they had published. It was not, we didn't find it in the Google search engine, we didn't get it.
Yeah, so honorable members, I'll allow you in, but allow me to make this direction. You know, we are in this committee and we have to comply with our own standing orders on how we operate. So please do not start asking question or commenting when you are not, when you have not been given an opportunity by the chair. Number 2, please address the chair so that we don't appear like we have a meeting where we have a chair, but members, you are addressing the witness directly. And number 3, please make your questions shorter and precise so that we don't have a back and forth because we want to have an orderly meeting. So let me allow first of all members of the committee, and then I will go to friend to the committee. Members of the committee, your question and comments. Senator Kisang.
Chair, on the first failure to publish a list of oh, that's the last one actually. So I just wanted to find out from the governor. You know, the auditor said they have checked and it's not there. So I don't know, is your website online? Are we able to verify it now? Because you know, that is something that can be checked if, I mean, it's online.
Yes, side, it's online.
Yeah, so maybe the auditor, where did you try to find it and you didn't get it? So maybe we can just check.
There's a website there, the given provided. This under their response. This nandi.go.ke departments of education, research and vocational training. So maybe
it starts with www.
It starts with https.
Maybe the clerk can check us.
Clerk, you can check for us. Any other question?
I don't know whether I don't know whether I got it right from the OAG. Are they satisfied with the response on the issue of unconfirmed bursary disbursements as done by the governor? If they are, we'll have no further questions.
OAG.
Thank you, Chair. We say that acknowledgements of bursary disbursements totaling 114 million were not provided, and the management is in agreement with that. So it's not addressed actually. Yeah.
Any other issue, honorable members? Senator Mugama?
Sir, on the bursaries issue, I would just ask which strategies has the management put in place to safeguard funds from being lost.
The website is not open.
Chair.
There's a problem. So maybe I can allow the governor to respond to the few questions. And then we will also have another round. The questions that the members have
Was talking, so about that. My question is, which strategies has the management put in place to make sure that money funds does not get lost? The bursary.
Chair, the process of bursary issuance in the county is very elaborate. In terms of the process, we have a committee in place. The identification process is provided by law and it is done through public participation. Now, once the beneficiaries have been identified, this is done to verify the details of approved, then is issued. As I indicated, the challenge has been how do you ensure that once the checks are issued, then the checks are taken to the various institutions that the institution beneficiaries to get receipts back from the institution indicates that they have banked the checks and that they are cleared the becomes a challenge. You receive some of them, some fail. Sometimes even some institutions end up, not banking, and sometimes then you have to struggle with reconciling those processes. That is why we are now in discussions with our partners, the bank that we are, our banking partners, to have RTGS. RTGS will then mean that the money is, we give them the schedule and they are able to just directly transfer the money, and they are able to give us the confirmation or the evidence for the confirmation that the money has gone. That becomes easier because then you will just be dealing with the financial institutions in this case. So we have taken those strategies and mechanisms with the intent based on the challenges that we have received before or that we have experienced before in terms of ensuring that we are able to deal with this. So I think going forward, once we go in that manner of RTGS, we should be able to have all the confirmations, based on the banking institutions that we are working with.
Chair, can I do a follow-up question on that?
Yes.
Governor, that's good. No, but I'm seeing a situation whereby two institutions, the county and the banking institution, will be able to give evidence on the transactions that have gone into 22. But now, where the question comes in is a reflection for the individual, the receipting for the individual students, to show that the county paid this amount of money to this institution. So who are the beneficiaries and did they benefit? Did that reduce on their school payments, or did it clear their payments? The individual receipts of various students.
That is, Chair, once bursary has been awarded to a student, the receipt ordinary would then go to the parent of the institution, of the student who benefited. But then on our part, we are able to confirm that the money was was transferred or was actually cleared by the bank to the beneficiary student. Then maybe then the gap, I see where you are coming from. Then the gap would then all these parents again communicate back to us in terms of in terms of confirming that they got the bursary. What has always happened in our case is that when you do, because we do yearly, when you go for public participation this year, if there were issues in the subsequent public participation, people would raise it. But in situations where every beneficiary got their bursary, as you go back to the second public participation, generally the feeling is that you get is the satisfaction by the community saying that has happened. So maybe again that is a small gap that we may then need to confirm with discuss with our partners again and see how we can be able to address that. But then that is a smaller, because most of the students are beneficiaries from schools from within the county, and we are working together with as we do the identification of beneficiaries. We also sensitize schools that for purposes of closing accountability, we need them to confirm to us. So some have been doing, some again, if students are benefiting from KMTC in Nairobi, for example, or Homa Bay, there is a whole discussion as to whether the institution would want to incur an expense in sending you the documents. So it's a gap that we have to find a way of addressing. But I think the bigger one would be sorted out once it is RTGS, because then from the end of ensuring that the money has gone to the schools, you can confirm from the bank transfers. But then in terms of the beneficiary student, is then a gap that we have to continuously engage.
Sure. Yes, I just want to understand from the government if there's an issue that is very crucial that the OG has raised. Are you still issuing checks to individual beneficiary students? Because what the audit query is all about. And if yes, what are you subsequently doing in the next financial year? Is that going to proceed, or I've read your response and I've seen you are indicating that you'll be paying lump sum figures to the institution directly. And then again, why were checks issued in the first place to individual beneficiary students and not institutions? Auditor? Yeah, it was to the government, not to the government. It was to the government. Okay.
In our case, when you have several students who are beneficiaries of the fund, of the bursary fund in one institution, we then have one check to the institution and a schedule totaling up. But where you have one student, one institution, we are able to we then give the check to that institution, but with the name of the student, because he is one student per, a student in that one institution. So one check for that one student. But in all the others, we work with the lump sum checks.
I want to understand something, Governor. This is Raphael Chimera studying Shimolatewa School, and I'm the only beneficiary of that institution. So the check from the county government of Nandi will be written, the payee is Raphael Chimera or my school? The school. So then you attach something that shows it is meant for me.
Yeah.
So then, auditor, we have an issue with the wording on the query, because if I read it to you, auditor, your query says, in addition, it was observed that the fund issues checks to individual beneficiary students. If my 3-year-old son, wherever he is now, he can clearly see that he was paying monies directly to student X and not to an institution. So maybe perhaps you need to clarify on the query, because to me it appears like governor is paying individual checks to individual names. So I keep son somewhere gets a check, so we don't know whether, and it's a contention that you say you're not so sure whether there's a risk of funds not being used for the intended purpose. So it seems they can be banking for other things and not for bursary. Thank you, Chair.
And then, in addition to that, auditor, can we find out whether there were any unpresented checks, and whether some of those unpresented checks became stale checks? Because when you issue checks to individuals, that chance is there.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of
as the audit query read, that there are some who were given individual checks. Sure, the amount is 114 million. So it's true, there could be some. There are some which were issued to individuals, and as maybe the governor has indicated, those ones where they gave a check, a lump sum, also with a schedule attached. So there's cases where individual checks were issued out of the 114 million. On the issue of unconfirmed, unpresented checks, I'm confirmed from the auditor. It's confirmed to me that there was no issue of unpresented checks. All of them have been presented, and there is no stale check noted in the financial statements. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I think Mark is also not coming out clearly. You know what Chimere is asking? A child who is in Form 1 or Form 2, Form 3, did you write the checks, the county write the checks to the child, to the student, or they wrote to the school, but it was given to the student with an attachment? You know, it's very clear. But the wording is, it's like William Kisang, who is studying in St. Patrick 10, and I'm 17 years, the check was written in my name or in the school. That's what Senator Jimara was asking.
Yes, Chair. The position is that, yes, there were some checks given as indicated, where there was one check to a school and attached to the list. But there are also other cases where there were individual checks to individual persons, Chair. So those two incidences happened.
Chair, a follow-up question on that. Because if this check is issued to a student's name, then where is the check going to be banked? The student doesn't have an account. Only the school has an account. And there is no way the check can be issued in the name of a student and be banked in the school's account. So there is something there. Can the auditor clarify this clearly?
Yeah. Chair, you know, this was my question, Chair. And now framers of the questions are framing their own questions, and they're reframing. But the auditor has no problem, by the way, Chair, completely. What the auditor has raised is an open and shut question. And it is Mark's response. He says, in the course of doing the audit exercise, they interacted with checks that were issued to individual students. So that is clear, Chair. There's no other question there. So the OG has nothing else to clarify. It is incumbent upon the governor now to clarify and respond why there are checks being written to individual students, beneficiaries. Are they county contractors? Are they being paid for supplying something? You know, is it an educational bursary fund? And the governor was clear in his response again. He said that, and I raised an example, if Raphael Chimera, for instance, is in Shimolatewa school and the only student benefiting that day, then he said he wrote a check to Shimolatewa school as the payee and attached to my name as the beneficiary. So you see, the clarity is now not coming clearly there. But what the OAG is telling us is that they saw checks paid to individual students. So that's what the government needs to come clearly on the Chair. But it's not the OAG at all. Thank you. That bit of checks being issued to individual students is an interesting one. Because the auditor, I think you need to provide that information. Because if you look in the responses, I think Annex 4, it doesn't indicate anywhere where we had the individual beneficiaries. You can see schools, universities. So maybe auditor, I think you need to tell us more about that. It will be an interesting one.
Can we see that? Because I can't find it in this.
It's just the schools.
No, I mean the checks that are written to individuals. Can we see the list of it? The Auditor General can give us.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Issue 1, this one, that's like, in addition, it was observed that the fund issues checks to individual beneficiary students. instead of making lump sum transfers to the beneficiary institution, thereby increasing administrative costs. So Chair, management response is quiet on that. Maybe they need to respond fast. Then we will give, because for us we have the information, for them they have got their documents. I also know that we have our documents back in the office, so they need to respond to this portion of the question.
Yeah, because as student, how many students have bank accounts? Let the chair respond.
The response of the county is that there is no check that is given to a student, because practically that is not even possible, because how then would a student actualize the bursary if it is written in their name? It's not possible. So for us, there is no beneficiary for bursary that would go to an individual, and therefore for the assertion by the auditor, unless they are able to provide any one or any check of that, but for us it does not it does not make, it's not possible to even give, because I mean these are individual students, minors,
Chair,
I'll give you a chance. We are still
on the OAG.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a chance. OAG, please. If you need more time, we can give you more time to come back to us with a list of direct beneficiary who are students. Because as Senator Mugama is saying, it will be interesting to know that. How did they actualize that bursary? And who are they? And of what value? Those are the questions we will be interested.
Yeah, and actually that's why I say the Auditor General should clarify this, because if it is there, then there is something very fishy somewhere, because how can a student receive a check directly and that check is being paid for school fees at the school? So Chair, it's good for this to be clarified. Thank you.
So, Auditor, do you need more time to give us that information, or to verify, or to confirm, or to find it otherwise?
Yes, Chair, I need also 1 week in addition to the other issue. I confirm on this part of the issue.
Okay, so we give you 7 days, please confirm, and when you confirm, give us the full list. If you find that your assertion was not correct, also advise us. Because either way, even if I wanted to take money from bursary, how will I take by writing a check to someone? Unless it is not a student. I mean, it's something that we need to find more about it. Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Chair, for handing over to me the witness. So I want to...
I'm not handing over. Remember the rules. Address the chair.
Thank you, Chair. Of course, I yield through you, Chair. I yield.
Point of order, Chair. Why is the senator using intimidating language against him? We are a friendly committee. We just want responses. If you say you're handing over the witness to me, intimidating the government.
But it doesn't look intimidating. Now, the point I wanted to make, I want to leave where Governor said. And that is why I agree with OAG on this authenticity of this 114,132,102 bursary. I didn't get the governor, because in this question on unconfirmed bursary disbursements, I didn't get the part of the governor on issuing direct to the institutions. And the response of the governor is saying is proposing to do RTGS. So the question is, in the act that was passed by Nandi County Assembly, is the provision of using, the law can be different, it can reflect something else. So I really want to net that aspect. Number two, Governor said he is yet to get acknowledgement receipts. So my question, Governor, when you are dispersing bursary,
you knew you were dispersing to. So to get acknowledgement would be easy, because if you knew you gave to Otsotsi Godfrey in Vihiga High School, it is easy to track, because I know. So it's like they are shooting in the dark by governor saying
to say the chair is a student.
No, when you are a student, I'm just using for purposes of illustration. For illustration, let me use myself. For example, Chair, can I be protected from the Senator of Machakos? And I don't know why she is excessively happy today. So the point I want to make today, for example, when you are in Machakos High School, and then I thought it is easy to do follow-up, because one, you have a committee, two, you have the disbursement committee, you have the people you disperse to. So by the time the OAG is asking for acknowledgement, which you have said you have not received, or it would be easy to tell the High School, you can, and you know, the formal should be provide us with the acknowledgement of what we pay to your institution for student XY, which has been missing. So Governor, why has it taken long? It is now, we are now in the second financial year under review after 23-24. Why has it taken long? That is my question number 2. Number 3, Chair, that is why on the aspect of lump sum transfers, I think I had asked that one number in this, the unpublished list of beneficiaries, which is, I think they were 176,533. But the chairperson, through you, Chair, you are an IT guru. You have told us you cannot trace that website. Or has it been traced?
The clerk has managed to get the website.
Have you managed to get the
and they have confirmed the...
How many are in contact?
Clerk, please.
Maybe you can go on record.
Okay, the website provides the list of beneficiaries, the details of the institutions and the amount that are disbursed.
What about the total number? Because the auditor is talking about 1,176,533. Does it tally?
Okay. It's a long list, huh? I'm trying to scroll down.
Yeah, as you tally up, let me leave that one and come back to it. So my number 3, until unconfirmed bursary disbursements. So, Governor, in your own assessment, did the intended beneficiaries get this 114,132,102? Now that you are saying you are yet to receive the total acknowledgement receipts from the receiving institutions. That is number 3 question. And finally, is this amount that you have indicated here, is it only financed through the budget that is appropriated by the county assembly, or there are grants or donations from other actors? And who are these actors and by how much? In this financial year, because I can see this disbursement of 114 million, they were 126 million on the transfer in note number 10, which I have seen in your financial statement. In this 114, 132, 102. Can you segregate before this committee and say, in secondary school, we gave 100 students, in universities we gave 1,000, in Tibet, and I don't know what you mean by Tibet. Does it include the youth polytechnics and Tibet? Because I have seen in one of your response, you have paid bursary for one student in assist driving. So what do you mean? Does Tibet include the colleges, the youth polytechnics, and is it the national polytechnics? So can you give us the segregation of the beneficiaries of those who received their disbursement? And finally, Chair, on this issue of OAG, it will be very interesting to get a report so that we get clarity on these issues of checks. Because, Chair, not to vary you, we would really want to know. I know, by the way, and I was telling my young brother, Chimera, that audit is not an event. It is a process. By the time an audit report is generated, it has gone through many phases. So by the fact that in the audit report, the OAG is pointing out something, then we need to look at the audit, or the notes that were being used for the audit so that we can check. I really want to know why would the county government issue, allegedly, these checks to individual students. So, Chair, that will be my 4 questions.
Good. Who comes first, auditor? And then I can give the governor.
The questions were directed.
Was that, or the questions were directed to the governor? Good, governor. As I indicated, in terms of getting confirmation, is that when you issue out bursary and throughout the process of identification and the students have been identified and the checks have been written, even where you have lump sum a lump sum check for a number of students, these sometimes, I mean, the process has always been that the beneficiaries pick the check and they drop the check in school. Once they drop in school, the process is that you expect them, the school, once they bank the check, then they are able to either respond to us directly with the confirmation that they have, that indeed they have received the money for the students that were identified, or in other cases, you have also the beneficiaries bringing that confirmation slip to us. When you look at the sheer numbers we are dealing with here, you know, we are dealing about, the beneficiaries are about 12,000, in excess of 12,000. And therefore, sometimes then you have a challenge of getting all of them at the same time. We have sent our staff and our student staff, especially for schools within the county. It's easier to send around the staff to collect those confirmations. But where you have a student who is benefiting, for example, and is a student in KMTC, for example, in Lodwar, or KMTC in Migori, or KMTC somewhere else, sometimes it is difficult for you to get those confirmations. And that is why we are saying that, you know, our strategies, we are trying to find means and ways of ensuring that you lessen that challenge by, for example, going through RTGS. And the question that was asked whether the law allows RTGS or through checks is just a form of payment, you know, or a form of disbursement. The law does not prescribe any particular format, it just allows you to do. So I think that is an administrative decision that you can make based on the challenges that we have incurred before. So those situations are common where, you know, a student has received, even if you are talking about a student who is in the last last year of study, once they benefited from the bursary, they may not even see the need to actually take the trouble of getting the confirmation and bringing to the school. Sometimes that cost of telling the school, can you please send us those documents? Sometimes the school may, you know, because there is no serious obligation on their part, we only persuade them to help us with those confirmations. But we think that when we go through the RTGS way, we may lessen that challenge. Again, in terms of the category segregation, the law the bursary law provides as to the percentages of the bursary allocation based on secondary. We have 50% goes to secondary, VTCs and 25%. Special needs student 10% and the university is 15%. So in that list of the 12 or over 12,000 beneficiaries, it is clear, you know, those segregation in terms of the percentages. And if you look at the list of the beneficiaries, it clearly indicates that it's possible to provide. This bursary fund, as at now, is only supported by the county budget. We do not have as yet any of the external support into the fund. Of course, we have partners that are working within the county and they give directly, you know, like we have KCB working with they deal directly with the students and the institutions. So this is a fund supported 100% by the county. Again, that list of beneficiaries, again, is a bulky document, but it's actually online as indicated. So that can be confirmed, Chair. Thank you. Good, Cherargei,
Just finally, Chair.
Yeah, finally, because we are tired.
I've heard Governor talking about 12,000. I thought, Governor, you had requested us that we discuss things that are within us. So I think the issue we are discussing is on the veracity of this 1,705.33. You have painted the problem, but you are not giving us the solution. I agree there could be students all over the country. But if you had developed a strategy of identifying bursary beneficiaries, why is it hard to get the acknowledgements of the receipts? Because the more you don't get it, the more it will become an audit query, because the auditor will just want to see the acknowledgement receipt of maybe Muranga University or Lodwa, as you have said, or Migori. So what have you put in place to ensure, because this will reduce the lawfulness and effectiveness and reduce the risk of this money getting into the wrong hands. So what is it that you have put in place?
Governor, you don't have to explain too much. I believe you have picked the question. Governor, please respond.
Can I finish, Chair?
You want to add, because you are elaborating instead of just, I mean, it is just, we've been here from 10 o'clock. Some of us are already.
I'm asking, Chair.
Yes, so.
I thought the parliamentary business ends at 5 or 6:30, but on a lighter note.
No,
so, Chair, on Chair, that is one further clarification.
You are lucky.
Number 2, I cannot be lucky. We are doing oversight. You know, if we don't do this, Chair, we'll be accused elsewhere that we are doing.
You said you have one question, so
So number 2. So Governor, tell us what you are doing to get these receipts, because this issue is still coming up. Because the moment you have not received the acknowledgement receipts from the receiving entity, it will be easy. And on this issue of RTGS, Governor, which are these banks that you are engaging with? And is there a memorandum of understanding between these banks? Because you know the law. The law is very clear. When you are spending public money, you must do it officially and by writing. Because if you don't do that, the OAG will come back in this financial year and say you are using RTGS before that collaboration. So is there an MOU, and which banks are these? Thank you, Chair.
Good, Governor. And I'll give my colleagues the opportunity after you for closing remarks. So there will be no more questions. Please.
So as I have indicated, really, it's a process that we have to work on. You know, we may not achieve perfection, but if you look at, if we shift, for example, to RTGS, if that works, it solves the problem to a larger extent. You know, so for us, really, we are trying to find mechanisms and means of dealing with this situation, of course knowing that even the institution that is benefiting from the bursary, we have no serious legal way to enforce, since that they give us those receipts. Really, it's based on goodwill, because the responsibility is not really strictly on them. But we think that these new strategies will help us. And again, if, for example, the senator would have an idea of how better to do it, because we are open, we are trying to find mechanisms of making this process a lot easier. That should be able to work for us. The banks that we are using are the existing, banking partners, Equity Bank, KCB. So we already have, the law was already followed in terms of establishing or setting up an account in any commercial bank. Those regulations are provided for under the PFM Act, and we have agreed. Shifting from, for example, using checks to RTGS is not any major shift. It's just an administrative direction that we take ourselves, and we instruct our bank to handle it in the manner in which we have directed them to do it. So we think that, based on all these challenges that we continue to face, our strategies are seeking to address those challenges, so that then we have a more smooth process of ensuring that our bursary disbursements is smooth and more clear. So I think we'll leave it at that, Chair.
Good. Yes, Cherargei.
So, since this issue of publishing list of beneficiaries, apart from publishing in the website, Governor, where else do you publish, so that there is what we call social audit? The people of Nandi does not need to know AG or to access, because the usage, you are the ICT chairman in the last session. The usage of access to internet and mobile might not be as high as in Nairobi. So what this identification committee is there, report back mechanism, and you have been a member of National Assembly that in the village Y, for example, Kapkemen where I come from, or Chepketemon where I come from, the person in charge of disbursement can say family XY received this amount for the bursary for issue audit and accountability.
Good, Governor. What the senator from Nandi is asking you, is there notice boards or what do you have so that you know notice boards in the county education department? There are also, these documents are provided at the sub-county offices. They are also at the ward offices, and also the MCA's offices, are available. And since, the process of identification is done at the ward level through public participation, those lists are always available. And even the issuance of the picking of the checks are always done at the county offices, so that then those who benefited, they come and they pick the checks, so the list is available across, and of course now it is also available at the website.
Chair, in 8.0, excessive expenditure of administrative expenses, which is part of the audit. Governor, apart from the
ask for permission first. When you opportunity, I had said, if you remember, I had said that was the last question, and we were going to give members to give their last remarks, unless that is what from what the chairman is saying.
Okay.
So I want to give members closing remarks, and then you'll be the last one, and then I'll give the governor.
Chair, can I use my closing remarks to ask a question?
Yes.
Then I'll be gladly taken.
Yeah, good.
So on this one,
no, I'm not giving you. You are the last members.
But I think so that the governor does not lose the train. We finish so that it will be fair to him also. So
okay, that's the last. Because there's something I wanted to say, but I'll say it elsewhere later on. We have not since 10 o'clock, Senator. We have not taken health break. And some of the things we have told the auditor to give us in 7 days. So maybe just say, and then now, as you said, and then you say your closing remarks, because we don't want to open anymore.
But yeah, in future also, be guiding friends of the committee, how committee operates, so that we prepare to get
Yes.
Thank you. So, Governor, on this excessive expenditure on administrative expense, so I thank you, Chair, because after the feedback of OAG, the committee will write report on this disbursement of bursary, because it's a very serious issue in Nandi. Number two, I have seen your response on justification of using excess on printing stationery, apart from the committee allowances of 500,000. Governor, this one you are using in printing and stationery, you have violated the Public Finance Management Act. This 500,000, I've seen you are giving every student 10,000 shillings. So if this 500,000 was to be used well, how many students would that be? For I don't want to ask CPA, 3.1% of the approved budget of 150 million for the year under review. So, Governor, what was the justification now that you are proposing to use technology? And Chair, I know you looked at that question. The OAG has flagged the weakness of use of ICT. So, if the county had a functional ICT, you don't need to print papers and stationery worth 500,000. So what is the governor doing to ensure the enhancement of ICT, and give us as justifiable that you went beyond the 3% that is recommended for stationery and the printing of 439,920. I yield, Chair.
Good, Governor. And then so that we can do remarks from the members of the committee. Agreed, as indicated, the Chair, we have the level of documents being printed is enormous. 30 wards, over 12,000 beneficiaries, ensuring that every ward has and the sub-county has
a list which then supports the same accountability mechanism is what has led us to that small increase, and that increase is an extra 150,000 actually beyond the threshold, the percentage. But again, as we have indicated, we are going to ensure that that does not happen in future, because we want to strictly adhere to the set percentage within the law. So it's in the furtherance of ensuring that we have more accountability, that actually the documents are available and that our members of the public can be able to access and confirm the beneficiaries. Thank you, Chair.
Good. Members, any member who has any issue? Bukwa?
Chair, am I still not?
No. Bukwa.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe my closing remarks, Governor. I would want you to tell this committee what your county is doing to address this issue. You know, the recent conversation about bursaries in the country and the stalemate we've been having with the COB. You can just tell us how far Nandi County has gone to comply with the same. Thank you.
Senator Chimera.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is to sincerely appreciate the Governor for taking time off his very, very busy schedule to appear before us, and for staying true to Article 96(3), Governor, of the Constitution, by actually appearing before this committee, because now we have a national discourse on whether governors should appear before the Senate or not. But I'm happy you took time to come. Let me also congratulate you for the good job you're doing in Nandi. I am pretty much well aware of being a third party from Nandi County. Just to urge you on the issue of the bursary, especially on those checks that have been a bit contentious.